It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Fakey Friday. It's the weekend, baby, and I am fired the freak up. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and man, we have a phenomenal show for you. Now, listen, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you don't follow us on Facebook, what you probably miss, man? What you probably miss? Okay, go to Facebook. Type in SportsZone Chicago, click the like button. All right, the little thumbs up. Dude's looking like that. All right, little thumbs up button. You like it. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Same thing. Click the like button, and now you're following us. Okay. Now, if you're watching this on a YouTube channel, excellent. Now, if you're not following us or subscribed to us on YouTube, what in God's name are you doing? What are you waiting for? Okay. So here's what you do. You go to YouTube. Okay. Type in SportsZone Chicago. Okay. And it says subscribe. There's a subscribe button. Boop, boop. Just click that. All right. Just touch it, click it, subscribe. And then you'll be subscribed to SportsZone Chicago, where you'll get not only Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, but you're also going to get 4 other live shows. And you can take us with you on the go wherever it is. Now, if you're watching this on the app, it's even more excellenter. Okay. Now, if you don't have us downloaded, what in God's name are you waiting for? All right, go to wherever you get your apps from, Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, Sam's Club, Walmart, Costco, wherever you get your apps from, okay? Type in SportsZone Chicago, download it, take us with you on the go. In addition to the 5 live shows that we have, we will get to give you a slew of podcasts, all right? Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings, at SM_mornings, or at SportsZone Shy, that's CHI, at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you do it just for the gram, you can hear an IGer. Just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention him. He is the man that makes everything run smoothly. He is a super producer. He's the man behind the curtain. He's the whiz, but you know what I like to call him? My Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa?
Not the Cubs. No, man. What's that?
That was short-lived.
Yeah, short-lived. No, you know what? To be honest, like I'm doing good. Like I'm showing. This is for the Cubs. This is exactly where I thought they would kind of be at the beginning of the year. It's like I could see them in first. I could see them in second. I could see them in dead last. And so far, they've reached every single part of that division, like order. They've been in first. They've been in second. They've been in third. They've been in last. You know, it's just the writing was on the wall. I'd rather just rip it off like a Band-Aid, right off. And then let's look forward to training camp.
Dude, and this is all in one half of a season. Mm-hmm. It's not like this is a whole season that they've hit all 4 spots in that division. That's pretty wild, dude. That's pretty.
I preach about consistency, and that's not consistency. I'm sorry to say, like you had your little string, and you're like, whoa, And I know we got Joseph coming out in a second, but it's like we seen what you can do at your best, and then we seen the worst, and it's just too much of the worst for me. Something has to be done.
I'll tell you what, I think a big thing for me with that, and we're going to talk Cubs at 10 o'clock. We'll talk baseball at 10 o'clock. But, I for a big thing for me, I think, is that starting pitching. And I understand you got to score runs. The pitchers they don't score runs. But I think that if you knew that you had a legitimate 1 through 3 and then 4 or 5, kind of mix in, I think that would go well. But there's no, the professor's been not the professor to this point. Jake Arrieta is a shell of his former self.
He needs to get removed.
Yeah. And everybody else is just young and kind of like trying to grow. So you don't really have anybody, and so your team. I don't know. I just think if pitching was there, it would help. It would take a lot of pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really surprised though that the bats aren't louder, okay, and more potent, because there's a walk year for a lot of people.
Well,
this
Shawn,
is a contract year, so
Shawn, it's funny you say that. The two most important bats, I feel like, that were removed from the lineup, Nico Horner and Matt Duffy. Those guys are secondary guys. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are after those guys are just nice, good role players, solid bats, solid defenders. Those guys are supposed to be secondary to your core. Why can't your core, with the 4-6 guys that you got in your core, be able to carry your team? It doesn't make sense. It just when you have guys that are secondary to your superstars that are out, and those are the biggest significances. It's like, come on, man. Like on top of the pitching, the hitting isn't there again.
No, it's not. I hear you. Well, listen, we got a great show for you, but we need you to get interactive. All right. Whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our app, just leave a question or comment right on that platform, and our super producer Ivan will get it up on the bottom of the screen. We want you to get interactive with us. Okay. That's what makes the show fun and extremely entertaining. We already had Shawn chime in. Good morning, my man. Good morning. He had just hit the big 50. His 50th birthday was the other day. Again, happy birthday. I know we wish you happy birthday in the air, but just again, happy birthday. I'll join you on that bus in about 16 days, excuse me. So I'll just keep my VIP spot at the table open. All right, because I'll be there shortly. But at 10:30, we have Darnell Mayberry from The Athletic. We're going to talk NBA Finals with him. And what does it mean for the Bulls? Okay, Phoenix was one of the worst teams ever the last few years. Milwaukee Bucks have been an afterthought for years, despite the only thing they had was a Greek Freak, and he's just starting. I shouldn't say just. He's developed. He's the only main attraction. And these guys turned it around. So we're going to talk to Darnell Mayberry and see how close the Bulls are to actually turning it around, as we watched what the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns have done in this first full season, almost full season, I should say, after COVID. And are the Bulls very far behind? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're definitely going to find out. 10:30, Darnell Mayberry. Summer of Mashawn. That's hilarious. That's good stuff, Ivan. Good stuff. Then at 11 o'clock, you know what it is. Friday, 11 o'clock, it's time for the two-back set with myself and the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the draft Dr. Phil. The Bears have released training camp. I knew one of those training things we were doing. Training camp dates. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot to talk about. And there's a lot of buzz coming out of Hallis Hall about how much everybody loves this kid, and I'm talking Justin Fields. Everybody and their mama. That means everyone for those of you who don't understand what that means everybody. Everybody. When you say everybody and their mama, that's everybody plus. But I'm just being a jackbag. I'm just kidding you. Anyway, so Phil Atoshin is going to join me at 11 o'clock. Talking Bears. But, man, again, we have a phenomenal show for you. And, guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning.
Just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
The Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And with that, we bring in their guy. We bring in our guy. We bring in your guy. He is the sports editor over there at the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And he is a man. He's sleep deprived, thanks to Theo, the CEO of his household. That's his newborn. Man, this is the guy you can find on Twitter at ACA Joe. Let's bring him out. Our boy, Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Papa? God bless. Woo!
How you doing?
Man, it's a beautiful day, baby. Beautiful day on the south side of Chicago. Sunny. Man, feel like Sesame Street. Sunny days. Everything's A-okay. I feel like now. Big Bird, Ernie, my man Count Dracula. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I feel like one of those guys.
We could leave Ernie and Bert out of it because of their situation. Okay, we could leave Ernie and Bert out of there subliminally their relationship, and that's fine.
Can I bust a flow and quote one of my buddies? He's a poet. His name is Dre. He got a cold rap, man. He came out. He says, "I don't care what your opinion is, what your dominion is. There's nothing you can say to spin this kid. On the block, they think Christ is an afterthought. That's it until they get their casket bought with the things that they have they thoughts, and they blast and chalk. And then that they last they thoughts. There's no co-captains. You can't play for both leads. Your soul is no Bo Jackson. I'm catching like Barry Rice. I need you to seek me the kitchen like Jerry Rice. All right, I got to give enough. I got to stop right there. Stop. I just wanted to say that. There. Yeah, I'm going to stop right there. I'm getting a little tired here, but I'm back. All right, let's do this.
It's always entertaining with Joseph. Let me tell you something. Anyway,
don't throw a chicken bone in the offering plate.
I thought it was the garbage. I thought it was the garbage. Well, the first top of the morning topic: the Cubs. Oh man, the Cubs lose to the Philadelphia Phillies 8-0. Albert Alzolay, he gets the loss. He's 4-9. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 5 Ks. And the Chicago Cubs had a rough day. The day after that they snapped their 11-game losing streak. They get right back on that wagon, and it was just a beatdown at the hands of the Philadelphia Phillies. And Jed Hoyer came out yesterday and talked, and he said something that was very poignant. And if you didn't catch it, you wouldn't be the only person. He came out and said, he said there's a lot of things that we have to look at. He said, and for us to not feel calls that we're getting would be irresponsible. He said we have to look out to the future. He says we also have to look, toward the next great Cub team. When he said that, that's him saying this is no longer a great Cubs team. When he said that, he said that this era of Cubs baseball is over. And now they have to start looking toward the future. Joe, give me your thoughts. How much, do you think Craig Kimbrough, who has been rumored to be the first and the most attractive piece on the Cubs trade bait wise, you think he's going to go first? And when do you think he's going to go?
Well, first I want to start off by saying anytime you have to start off a highlight and the guy is ducking, like Alzolay, as I said, when he pitches wrong, I call him Alizé because he act like he's been drinking a whole bunch of 40 proof whiskey or something. But at the end of the day, Jed Hoyer, he predicted this. He says that get this team to June or by the end of June, and we'll see where they're at. And right now, I believe the Cubs are probably one of the top sellers on the market. And they're going to get value back in return because we have two all-stars in Craig Kimbrell and Chris Bryant. And when he says that he's looking forward to building the next great Cub team, I believe he really means it, because you have guys like Ed Howard, who has been stepping up lately, and 9 for 27 in his last 5 games. You got Christian Hernandez, who's supposed to be the face of the franchise in the future, with the EA arrival time of 2025. And then you have guys like a Brennan Davis, who's been hot with the bat. And if you keep 1 or 2 core guys from this 2016 team around, then you have a choice. You have a chance to build the next great Cubs team, in addition to the prospects or a player return might get in trading off our 2 all-stars in Chris Bryant and Craig Kimbrell, along with Jock Peterson. I'll get rid of him too. I'll just sell. And rebuild from the farm system. Do what Rick Hahn did, because he stole from us, so we're going to steal back from him. Just kind of like load up the prospects and then steal other people's prospects back. Load up the starters and steal other people's prospects back. That's how we got to do it, in the words of Rick Hahn,
Okay. I don't know about stealing, but
yeah, you guys lowballed a lot of people. That's why y'all in the position.
But listen. You can't say this is a contract, dude. These contracts and these these money and these contracts that these young men sign, you say they're lowball. They don't have to sign them. So you're acting as if that this is whatever we say goes. Whatever we offer is it, and that's all you're getting. That's not it at all. This is a contract. These are contract negotiations. So if you don't feel that you'll be worth that later, or maybe he's playing on the fact that they're all from third world countries, and the fact that he's throwing around millions of dollars, they're easily enamored by the number, even though it's well below their market value. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is, it is a contract. They don't have to sign it. Scottie Pippen didn't have to sign his contract. Okay, Abreu and Moncada and Lubob and Eloy, they didn't have to sign their contracts. They didn't. Okay, they still had years to go. Then they had arbitration. They signed. It's a choice. So he's not stealing, money. We're not robbing anybody. It's literally. Listen, here's what we're offering. Either you take it or you leave it. If not, then we'll go down negotiations somewhere else. These contracts they're front loading these contracts. Okay.
Shawn, what logo do I have on right here? What does that say?
That says the Bull. The Bulls.
Bulls. You know who owned the Bulls? Mr. Lowballer himself, JR. Okay? The king of lowballers. He is not a baller, he's a lowballer. Okay,
that's what he does. He's a baller because he lowballs.
Exactly. So let's not even try to But
again, you don't have to sign because they give you.
That's what he does.
And he's a good businessman. Again, you don't have to sign the contracts that they offer you. You can negotiate. That's the whole. Like George Costanza. It's negotiation. Okay, and that's it. But some guys. We know Scotty wanted the money. He had some issues going on in his personal life that he wanted to sign. These guys, we're talking Eloy, we're talking Lubob, we're talking Yo-Yo. These guys, this is more money they've ever seen. They probably couldn't even fathom that. You know what I mean? They probably couldn't fathom that type of money. And so even though it's a lot, they will be underpaid if they continue. Right now, they're overpaid. Okay, they're overpaid because they're getting paid on performance. But if they live up to their potential, at the end of that contract, they will be extremely underpaid, and that's a tactic. But again, they don't have to sign it.
That's how the 2005 White Sox won. I told people Most of those guys that was on that roster, they value depreciated prior to coming to the Sox. So they were in second chance role. And as soon as they start producing, here comes Kitty Williams. Well, we're not giving them we're not giving these guys that type of money, that type of extension. I'm not gonna make it about the White Sox. What I'm saying is that this is what the Cubs are about to start doing. Okay, we're a big market team. We're in a need to fleece someone farm system and try to look for a top 3 prospect. Because that's what it's going to take to not only put us back on the map, but put our farm system on the map. So if you don't want Craig Kimbrell for a top prospect, then don't call us, okay? Don't call us. If you don't want KB for a top 5 prospect, don't call us.
That's not going to be an issue, Joseph. That's not going to be an issue.
We're going to give the White Sox a call.
If you got a team
we're going to give the White Sox a call.
No, you don't have to call us. All right, people are going to call you. You don't have to give it. You don't need to pick up that phone and call anybody. There will be more than enough people calling you, because as the trading deadline draws closer, and you see, because you did it in 2016, and you're going to see who needs. And we're like, wow, we're one solid back end of the rotation guy away, okay, or we're a closer away, or we have a closer. We want 2 closers. We want an 8th inning and a 9th inning. Instead of having our setup guy in the 8th, we want a setup guy in the 7th, and then the closer in the 8th and another closer in the 9th. Switch them depending on the day. So you're going to have plenty of calls. You don't have to call us. You don't have to call us. You can wait till people start reaching out, and then you can make that deal, because the closer you get to the trading deadline, the more expensive he's going to be. If you do it now, you can get some stuff back, but the closer it gets to the deadline, and you start seeing teams like, it was only 5 years ago, you should remember, you guys were like, you're desperate, and not because you were scared of losing the division. You're like, well, no, we need to make sure that we have this. We feel that this is going to be a special year. We got to have this back end sealed. Remember, you already had a closer. You had a closer back then, okay? But you had a chance to really solidify it, and you did, and it was paramount, And I've asked Ivan this. I've asked my Cub fan friends and family members this. I said, would you do this because you lost one of the best prospects you had? But that was the cost. That's the cost of doing business. In Gleyber Torres, would you do it again? They said, I do it every day and twice on Sunday.
Yep.
Well, how about this?
I totally agree. And
if it's Kimbrell. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about the White Sox with Kimbrell, because like we mentioned it. I mentioned it earlier. I think me and Joseph had talked about it earlier. Like another bullpen piece, even though how good they were at the beginning, would be nice. And now you're what, 10 games up?
No, 7.5. Cleveland won yesterday.
Okay, 7.5. Now you have an opportunity to go out and like not only seal that back end, but it's like an abundance of riches that you guys have. It's a luxury for you guys to be able to go out and get a Craig Kimbrell, because you have those prospects. You put yourself in a position to do that, and I think that's exactly where I think that Craig Kimbrell should just stay in Chicago and go to the South. Like this is my honest opinion. If the Cubs were to sell, he just needs to go right over on the other side of town, get a couple prospects, and like talk. I mean, depending on the prospects, who do you like? Ask you, Shawn. Who would you give up? Because at this point, you're talking about the Sox going after a World Series title right here, right now, if they were to trade for him. Who would you give up? What prospect is untouchable?
There's no prospect that's untouchable. If it's a prospect, nobody's untouchable. There's some people on the main on the active roster. Like I think a Garrett Crochet is in play. Maybe even an Andrew Vaughn might be in play. But Kopech is off limits.
I mean, of course.
That's a given. But you see, we got Gavin Sheets, we got Jake Berger, we have, these are all young guys that we want to keep.
I'll take Cespedes.
Cespedes, he's another one.
Let's start there. Let's start with
Cespedes.
So that's what. And here's the thing: if you want to win a World Series, and if you really feel you gave up Gleyber Torres.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew you had. It's the cost of doing business. It's the cost of doing business. Now, are we going to get caught in? Is it going to be another one where we trade him away and all of a sudden he turns out to be a Fernando Tatis Jr.? Or we pissed off like a son of a gun, boy. Again, again. But you know what? The closer you get to the deadline, the more expensive the closer, a top of the line, all-star, shut him down closer is going to be.
Y'all can take Alzolay, aka Alizé, with y'all too. Y'all can have
No, we don't.
Too.
No, we have Ray Lopez. We're good.
They don't need another Ray Lopez.
We don't need another Ray Lopez. No, thank you. Anyway, moving on. the next top of the morning topic: the White Sox. They start a big series in Baltimore, 3-game set right before the All-Star break. As I said, the White Sox are 7.5. I want to say, or is it 7.5 or 5.5? Let me double check. I don't want to misspeak and have our fans like you're wrong. Like, okay, take it easy. Yeah, 7.5. The White Sox are 7.5 games in front of Cleveland, who obviously who won last night. They beat the Kansas City Royals 7-4. This is a nice little stretch because the All-Star break is right after. Okay, and the first half, and not exactly the half, we just passed the halfway point, but the first part of the season is over, and we're sitting pretty. We're in a situation where we lost. You think of what we lost. We've had every single position, every single starter on that opening day roster, all 8 positions has been out. They have all been out at one point or another. Okay, you talk about the outfield. You know the outfield, Lou Bob and Eloy. Those dudes were gone. Adam Eaton, even though he's DFA'd, he was a starting outfielder. He was out. Adam Engel, he was out. Okay, Billy Hamilton, he was out. That's 5 outfielders. We only have 3 outfield positions. 5 outfielders were out. Then Yohan Moncada was out for a little bit. Tim Anderson was out for a little bit. We just lost Nicky 2 strikes. Okay, Jose Abreu was out when he got beamed in the knee. And then now he has Manny Grandal. I think we are in a phenomenal position. And, you know, if you're going to argue with me that the AL Central sucks, go argue with your mama, okay? Because I can't argue with you. AL Central does suck. But you know what? We beat up on them because that's what we're supposed to do. All right? That's what we're supposed to do. So it's a good stretch. You finish strong. You finish strong against the Baltimore Orioles. Get your rest. And if I were you, if I were them, Joseph, I don't know about you, but man, I would on Sunday night, if I'm not in that All-Star game, I'm gonna have if I'm married, I'm having the wife do it. If I got a significant other, my girlfriend, hey hon, listen, you plan a trip to the Dominican Republic, to Tahiti, to Aruba, to somewhere. I don't want to see a baseball for 3 days. Get away now. And recharge your batteries because it's going to be a battle coming back because Cleveland doesn't want to go away. Okay. And then you're gonna have to face the Yankees. You're gonna have to face the Red Sox. You're gonna have to face the Houston Astros when you come back. There's a lot of teams you're gonna have to face. So this is a big stretch. The last 3 games, go into the break, and then when you come back, it's time to get down. Because I personally, as a Sox fan, I want it to get double digits, that lead. I want that lead to 12, 15 games where you know what? There's no chance of anybody coming back.
Well, I have to say this about the Sox. You guys have the perfect schedule to pretty much go through what you're going through right now.
Yep.
You know, I know that the schedule was super duper weak. The MLB gave you guys, and that's a good thing because they want to get Chicago back on the market, whether it's the Cubs or the Sox. And I know they wasn't looking out for the Cubs because our schedule is super hard. But the bottom line is, the key words I always say about the White Sox is depth. And you guys, and you have to give credit to Tony La Russa. Okay. He has found a way to consistently win in spite of losing key guys and is actually proving his point. He don't need all these egotistic, big ego type of guys. He just need guys to do what he wants to do. Now, if it just so happened he does it with the egotistic, big ego type of guys, then great. But I think it's been a lot of silence on the South Side because they're realizing that Tony is actually a good coach. Because how in the world you lose pretty much the starting 9 of your team hey, you're still 15 games over 500.
Yep.
And that's pretty much a credit to two things. That's depth, all your prospects hidden. I put that in parentheses. In addition to Tony being an excellent coach. Okay? And you have to give credit when credit is due. That's what it is.
Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. We're going to continue this topic on the White Sox because Eloy was talking yesterday. He's excited about what he's doing today, as is the rest of Sox Nation. And we're going to talk about that on the other side. So don't go anywhere, folks. More top of the morning topics. Keep it locked right here at Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. The rough road for the Cubs continues. They dropped their 12th matchup in their last 13 outings last night, falling 8-0 against the Phillies. Brad Miller with 3 home runs. Philadelphia took 3 of 4 games at Wrigley. The Cubs without stars Chris Bryant and Javier Baez. Bryant's out with a strained right hamstring. Baez out with a right thumb sprain. They're day-to-day. They'll turn right back around this afternoon at home. Right-hander Kyle Hendricks starts. He's 10-4. They'll take on St. Louis and left-hander Wade LeBlanc, who comes in with an 0-1 record. The White Sox have won 7 of 10. They're on top of the American League Central. 7.5 games better than Cleveland. The Sox had the day off. Tonight on the road at Baltimore, lefty Dallas Keuchel starts against right-hander Jorge Lopez. Cleveland picked up a half a game on the Sox, ending a 9-game slide with a 7-4 win over Kansas City Thursday. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast or your money back.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at SportsZone Chicago. We're smack dab in the middle of our opening segment called Top of the Morning. And we're talking White Sox. And Eloy, this next top of the morning topic, Eloy Jimenez starts his rehab assignment today. He'll be down in Winston-Salem. And Eloy's had a little, he came out on his IG page yesterday, and he said he's 110%, he's 200% better, unquote. So he's excited to get started. We don't know how long. He said his pec muscle, which he tore, is fine. It's 100% healed. That's why he's 110%, 200% better. He's going to go down, and we should have him by the crosstown. Okay, we might have him by the end of the month. Who knows? If he goes down there and there's no issue, okay, and he's able to swing the bat, and we start to see his power, and he starts hitting 6, 7, 8 homers, in a week, then his path to the south side will be expedited. And I'll tell you what, Sox Nation cannot wait for this guy to get back.
Well, last time we saw Eloy Jimenez, or heard from Eloy Jimenez, he said he was 100%. Now you hear from him again, he's saying he's 200%. So that means that he's very confident in returning, and he wants his spot back. It sounds like he's hungry to get back out there in the field. Now, one thing you're looking from Eloy when he returns is if he's learning from his mistakes, okay? Because Tony La Russa, the way he got things going now, he can't afford to have anybody to come in and mess that up. And I'm talking about he has a team mentally focused exactly the way he wants them to be. So Eloy cannot come in playing any games with a no-nonsense coach like Tony, even though Tony has relaxed a little bit because it's his way of trying to compromise and work with other guys. But Eloy cannot come back with any antics, anything that's going to show up the team. He just needs to fall in line like the rest of the soldiers.
I think, and hopefully this is a maturation process has happened with Eloy. Just to show you, there's just some things you just can't do. You just can't be silly sometimes. Not with the amount of talent that you have, and you have to stay focused. When you're between those white lines, it's got to be 100% focus. Okay, and sometimes he drifts away. Okay, he's got to get back to being focused, laser focused, because there's a task at hand. Okay, there's one task at hand, and that's it, and that's win the World Series. That's the only task they have. So whatever you have to do to get there, whatever you have to do to win it, you do it. And it first starts with mindset, shifting the way you think, and you can't. And again, I'm not, and I don't think anyone else is telling him not to be himself. We're just saying we need you more focused. We need you being a lot more attentive. Don't do dumb stuff. Don't go slide into walls and running head first into wall. All right, stay out of the nets. Okay, all these things that he could. I knew it was coming. I know it. I know it. I said, I know it. And he's got to do. He's just got to grow up. I still want you to have that childish enthusiasm, but you also need to grow up, if that makes sense.
Hey, even though I'm a Cubs fan, and I'm going to take my little subtle shots at the White Sox, but I really want you guys to win the whole thing at the end of the day.
Really?
I don't want to hear any excuses, man. It's World Series a bust, as we've been saying all along from the beginning of the season. You guys had the hype. So far, y'all been maintaining the hype, even though the schedule hasn't really allowed you guys to be, I wouldn't say challenged, but thoroughly challenged.
But challenged.
Yeah. I'll say thoroughly challenged because y'all have dominated the Twins. I have to say that, even though I guess the Twins are just like a shell of themselves. In addition to watching Cleveland still trying to compete, but they don't have the resources or the depth to sustain a performance like that. Gonna fade now. I don't think they're gonna be a factor versus the Sox. The only team you gotta worry about is those cheating Houston Astros and maybe the mighty New York Yankees with no cheater.
Did you say the Houston LeBrons? I know I should have started. I should have brought that name up. I should have started.
Oh yeah, LeBron's a Yankee fan, so he'll be there on his day off, and he'll be a Cowboys fan the next day. By the way.
All right. Next topic, morning topics. What do the White Sox go get? What do you think? What do you think they need before the? Oh no, you know what? We'll talk about that. I'll talk about that at 10:00.
Can I do what I think they need quickly? They need to go get Craig Kimbrell and come take Jock Peterson off our hands. Because I know y'all wanted Jock Peterson. Y'all wanted young Jock, didn't y'all?
We did.
Go get him. He's on a 1-year deal. Go get him. If you want him, come get him. Come give us what we need. Okay? We got everything you need. What do you need? You need a closer? We got it. You need a left-hand hitter? We got it. Okay?
Well,
forget about it.
Yeah, we do. We do. You do. I can't deny that. Because I don't know who's going to be. I mean, you don't really need. Okay, I guess so. You could put. I mean, you got Billy Hamilton. Yeah,
he can lead off. He can interchange one and in the 10th spot. He can interchange. You got two leadoff hitters.
He's attractive. He's very attractive. He's attractive for us to go get because that'll add depth to our outfield as well. Even though we do have Billy Hamilton and Goodwin, Eloy coming back. Still,
he's cheap too.
Well, we'll see. That's definitely a thing we can explore. And if we do, I hope he blends right into the clubhouse and seamlessly fits in. That would be phenomenal. Next top of the morning topic. Check this out. Speaking of the Sox and your Cubs, ABC has decided to air on Sunday Night Baseball on August 8th. See, you son of a biscuit. Why you got to go there? Why do you got to go there? Sunday night, August 8th, Sunday Night Baseball, Cubs, Sox, crosstown. See,
I was there. I'll never forget that game. I was there. It was unbelievable because the Sox were celebrating. The fans were standing up after one guy scored, and then AJ came and scored, and then Michael Barrett out of nowhere.
You can't see. You're not a good storyteller. You can't just say AJ came and scored. There was a collision at the plate, if you remember.
Yeah, it was a collision at the plate,
and then AJ didn't tag it. He slammed the hell out of home plate. He was like, "Bam!" The ball got away.
No, he rubbed it in.
Yeah.
And Michael, aka Knockout Barrett, comes out of nowhere.
Not Barrett.
Like AJ was celebrating. Oh, he was like, and the rest was history. I'm talking about the crowd erupted. It was like, oh.
Oh, I thought they were yelling because there was another fight in the stands.
So you know what? This is great. You know, I really like the fact that finally the nation gets to see it because people don't understand the Hatfields and McCoys, how we truly don't like each other. They really don't.
But I think it's ESPN. Honestly, this is like the prime year for the Sox to go on ESPN because they're on top. The Cubs are on a decline, right? Like, so you're gonna probably end up, like, in my opinion, you're probably gonna see a Sox victory if the Cubs can't right in the ship somehow. So like, this is all ESPN stuff.
Tell them they better not lose to us. They bet not lose to us.
Oh my God! Please, because this is probably our World Series. This is probably our World Series. Do not do that.
Do not lose to us because you're going to hear our trash talking. I don't care. You're going to hear our trash talking for the rest of the year and beyond because you guys are loaded. There's no reason why you should lose to us, especially after that performance that Jose Abreu put on last season and really when he hit 6 home runs in 2 days, you know. So, well, 3. Was it 3? 6? What was it? 3 days? How many home runs did he hit in the weekend?
3.
Was it? It was just 3.
No, it was 3 games. I think he had 5 home runs in 5 or 6 home runs in a 3-game set.
No, I was there. He had 6
because he had 3 in one game. 3, 2, and 1.
There you go. 6 in the series. Yeah.
Yep.
So it should be no lower standard than that. You guys better not lose to us. That's all I gotta say. Okay. We don't want to hear we didn't have swing, so we didn't have this. No, we lost 11 out of our 12 games. Or what was that? 12 out of 13 games? It's just ridiculous. It's no reason why you should lose to us. Period.
Okay.
And you know Cubs fans are frustrated. Cubs fans are frustrated now.
Oh wow! Now, sorry, I just got a text from one of my Sox guys who was reaching out to me yesterday, trying to get him to come on. But he said he was just swamped. The next top of the morning topics. How about this nonsense? The Olympics will have no fans in the stands. The Olympics are still going to continue. They're still going to be had. But there are no fans in the stands due to the fact that less than 50% of Tokyo or of Japan is vaccinated. So they're trying to protect the players or protect the athletes. But how much is this has to do with the $1 billion that NBC is paying the IOC, the International Olympics Committee, because it's $1 billion deal, and if the for this year alone. So if the Olympics don't go off, IOC doesn't get that money.
Yeah. So Here's the beauty about just being able to have airing rights to the Olympics. NBC is in need of something huge because they haven't been the same since the NBA on NBC. I'm just being honest with you. Cue round ball rock for us. I'm just joking. But at the end of the day, it's exactly what they needed. It's perfect for a network like that who struggled with ratings, over the past years. So kudos to them.
The next top of the morning topic, let's peep this. The Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns go up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks with a 118-108 victory in the Valley in Phoenix. Listen, Phoenix is they might be doing something. They might have created a team with longevity. And I think, we were talking about on Wednesday. I don't remember who we had on Wednesday. I was talking about it, but there's a blueprint where they're going out to DeAndre Ayton, who apparently someone directed him toward the weight room.
Yeah.
And now he's dominating down low. The offense runs through him. He can go, he's going to get those 15, 20 points in the paint. Collapsing, causing defenders to collapse, causing wide open 3-point shooters at the line. And they're doing it successfully. They may have, first of all, I'm excited for Phoenix. I do like Chris Paul, like a lot of other people do. I was in his 16th season. This is the best shot he's had. But it's not just he's not being carried along, Joseph. He's actually an integral part of this team.
As you saw the stat prior to the finals starting, CP3 was the first guy to post 32-9 in his finals debut since Michael Jordan. Okay. And when you are mentioned with names like that, then you're in another stratosphere.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying CP3 Michael Jordan, no, but he does work for Jordan Brand. But at the end of the day, as they used to say when he was with the New Orleans Hornets, CP3, woo! And there's Ric Flair in the background doing that. That was a beautiful thing. They need to bring that back.
I'm happy. I'm happy that it's gotten to this point. Chris Paul is at a spot where he can taste it. Okay, he can taste it. He's 2 wins away. The next 2 are in Milwaukee, and then if Game 5 is necessary, they come back. It's 1-1-1. So it's Phoenix, Milwaukee, then Phoenix, which I like. I hated the 2-3-2. I hated the 2-3-2 schedule for the finals. I hated it. Just hated it. But Phoenix is in a good spot. Oh, it was Paul Richardson who we had on PLR. Phoenix is in a really good spot to win their first ever NBA title.
Yeah. And I just have to go back into their history a little bit. I know in 93, they came really close because, who stopped them? Michael had to shut the door on them, along with Johnny Jump Shot. But don't forget about that Phoenix Suns team who played against the Celtics in the 70s with Paul Westphal and I think Gar Hurd and I think Lenny. I don't know if Lenny Wilkins was on that squad, but I know he played with the Sonics for a few seasons. But anyway, they have had teams to make it to the finals, but they just never finished the job. And maybe this third time, around, they couldn't do it with Paul Westphal. They couldn't do it with Charles Barkley. Maybe they can do it with Chris Paul and Big A, Andre 8, so DeAndre 8, and give those Arizona fans what they want. That would be a nice celebration, and I think they deserve it also because they've been one of the most consistent teams from start to finish with no complaints. They suffered their injuries. They went out there and played both ends of the floor. I'm sorry.
Okay. Since the bubble.
Yeah, since the bubble, they haven't complained. They just go out there and play basketball. They have a West Coast brand of basketball with a little East Coast toughness. And I like that. And I think that's what Chris Paul brings to them. He has that toughness that they were missing. And it's just infectious. That leadership, it's affecting everyone around him. Even though a lot of people don't like Chris Paul, don't get along with him off the court, because sometimes it could be Chris Paul and sometimes it could be Uncle Cliff Paul. Switch it up on him. But at the end of the day, that's not going to stop fans from cheering for him on bringing them a championship, because this is how I look at it. As a Bulls fan, this can be a blueprint, not a false sense of security blueprint, but a blueprint for us to show us that we're not that far away from competing if we add a bona fide, decorated championship all-star point guard at the position along with another scorer. And if we can do that this offseason, the Bulls can compete just like the Phoenix Suns can compete for a championship.
I hope you're right, Joseph. I hope you're right. I would love to see this thing turn around quickly. I think that'd be awesome. And we're going to talk to Darnell Mayberry at 10:30 about this and how close he feels, because he covers the team. He's in the locker room. Well, not this year, but he'd been in the locker room prior and get a feel for this team.
That's my buddy Darnell, by the way. I see him at the game all the time. Shout out, D.
Yeah, he said, just make sure you don't put me on with Joseph, is what he said.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so funny.
So yeah, we're gonna find out. Are we that close? Are we just one player away? 2 players? How far are we? And that's what we have to find out. And we're gonna talk to Darnell at 10:30 because Bulls fans need to hear this. Bulls fans need to be told what's going on, because
Shawn, was you partying last night? What's going on?
Was I partying last night?
Did you party last night? You look a little tired.
No, I'm a little tired, but I had CrossFit this morning.
Okay. Dog, because I normally you be super pumped up, man. You're not pumped up today.
I am. I'm super pumped up with being tired. But it doesn't matter how pumped up. The tiredness kind of.
Yeah, it looked like you didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Me either. We're in the same boat.
No, this CrossFit was a son of a gun this morning, dude. I'm telling you, that could have been one of the toughest CrossFit classes I've had in a while. I've had a couple of them, and that was a tough one.
What does that consist of? Like, what are you guys doing? Is it like is it like circuit training, where you're doing a certain amount of workouts in a small amount of time? How does that go?
So we have a workout of the day. So everything leads up to the workout of the day. Sometimes, and most times, you'll have a strength portion of it where you do one part of strength, and then you have the workout of the day. And the workout of the day could be strength, could be power, could be endurance, could be a combination of all of them, depending on the exercises. And today was a tough one where we had it was called tailspin, tailspin. They give them goofy names. So we started off, we had 6 alternating dumbbell snatches. So we had to get it from the ground. You'll squat down with the 50-pound dumbbell for a guy, 35 for women, and we have to yank it up over our head. Okay, we had 6 of those. Then we had 30 calories on the assault bike. Then we had double unders, a jumping rope, like boxers. Then we had handstand push-ups, or if you couldn't do handstand push-ups, you had push press. Then you had the double unders. Then you had the bike again. So if you say that, like, okay, well, that doesn't seem like a very difficult.
That sounds good.
Well, in CrossFit, like, oh, that's easy. But here's the spice on this. Every minute, you had to do 6 alternating dumbbell presses or dumbbell snatches. So we start with the dumbbell. We snatch alternating 6, 3 right, 3 left. Then we get on the bike. And then at 60 seconds, there's a timer. It's 10 seconds. So no matter where you are, so you're at like 8 calories, and boom, now you got to go back and do the 6 alternating dumbbells. Then you got to get back on a bike, and now you may be at 18, 20, 25 calories. Then you got to get off because at the top of the minute, you got to go back and do the 6 dumbbell jerks. Then you transfer to the jump rope, and you got to do the double unders or the singles if you weren't able to. But at every minute, you got to go back and do those 6 alternating dumbbells. That was a biat. That was tough.
Wow.
It took me today. I was the last one done today. And it took me 23 minutes and 58 seconds.
Oh, wow. You got MJ number. That's pretty good. Yeah, we're about to start. I know we're about to close out here. But we got the tournament coming up July 31st. And the first week of conditioning is on the 17th. So I'm going to condition the guys. So those that smoking weed, I'm encouraging them, stay off the weed. Okay.
Are you going to be?
I'm telling them now, stay off the weed because we're going to be running, bro. We're running, bro. But also I want to send my condolences to a young man who lost his life up there. He had an asthma attack at the court and died on the court. And that was a really sad thing to see. We were trying to do mouth to mouth with him, but it was just too late. So I'm going to dedicate a jersey to him at the tournament, and actually before he died, he won his game at that court. So it was just really shocking to see something like this, a person die in front of my eyes like that, So just a prayer and my condolences to his family.
Yeah, it's tough. I can empathize with you on that one when someone dies right in front of you. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. So my condolences to you and the guys out there, and obviously to his family, because that's a tough one. That's wow. Listen, we got to take a quick break. Hey, Joseph, great stuff today, Papa. I appreciate it. Do me a favor though, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Okay, please visit us at ChicagoCrusader.com. And this week we'll be doing a piece on the Chicago Football Classic and a giveaway that they're doing today. So check us out, ChicagoCrusader.com. God bless.
Cool. Hey, you have a good weekend. You got any fun stuff this weekend with the little guys?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. They're going to be hanging out with Daddy, helping me out with this content, So they're going to be helping me put together this whole program, the itinerary for the basketball tournament on July 31st. Yep. And we ordered all our uniforms. We got the cup, we got the trophy. We got everything ready to go, and the scoreboard.
Awesome. Hey, you have a good weekend. It's going to be nice and rainy starting tomorrow. So time to just chill, relax, and and just get ready for the week. All right. Enjoy your time.
All
we'll
right,
talk
get
to
you
you
some
Monday.
sleep, man. Get you some
I will
sleep,
after
bro.
the show. I will.
Yes, sir. All right. God bless. Peace out.
All right, guys, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we got some baseball talk. We're going to talk Cubs. We're going to talk White Sox as they head into the weekend series, the last series before the All-Star break. And both teams are trending in a different direction. So, guys, we're going to talk about that. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1998 NBA Finals. Tonight, it's Game 6. The Chicago Bulls versus the Utah Jazz.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. The rough road for the Cubs continues. They dropped their 12th matchup in their last 13 outings last night, falling 8-0 against the Phillies. Brad Miller with 3 home runs. Philadelphia took 3 of 4 games at Wrigley. The Cubs without stars Chris Bryant and Javier Baez. Bryant's out with a strained right hamstring. Baez out with a right thumb sprain. They're day-to-day. They'll turn right back around this afternoon at home. Right-hander Kyle Hendricks starts. He's 10-4. They'll take on St. Louis and left-hander Wade LeBlanc, who comes in with an 0-1 record. The White Sox have won 7 of 10. They're on top of the American League Central. 7.5 games better than Cleveland. The Sox had the day off. Tonight on the road at Baltimore, lefty Dallas Keuchel starts against right-hander Jorge Lopez. Cleveland picked up a half a game on the Sox, ending a 9-game slide with a 7-4 win over Kansas City Thursday. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Just got done with the top of the morning segment with Joseph Phillips, and I'll tell you what, I'm a little excited going into this weekend. Okay, the White Sox right now are 7.5 games up. The worst we can finish is 4.5 games up. I do anticipate winning the series, winning 2 out of 3, and We're looking good. Eloy's coming back. He said he starts his rehab assignment today. Could be down there a couple of weeks. Now, if Eloy starts to rake? What if Eloy starts to just destroy Winston-Salem pitching? Then you move up to Charlotte. And he destroys Charlotte pitching. Because mind you, you're not dealing with, with Bieber anymore. You're dealing with single A pitchers. He should be able to tattoo some of this pitching. He should be able to. I'm not going to use any of his exit velocity should be no. He should be able to tattoo some of these pitchers. A lot of these pitchers, and in single A, double A, and triple A, if that's what the White Sox want to do, and I can guarantee the White Sox are going to be cautious a lot with this, because the last thing you want is for him to come down injured in the stretch run, because you don't want to get used to having him and then losing him. So the White Sox are going to do their best to make sure that he's healthy, that his mind is right, and that he's ready to finish up the rest of the season. Now, here's the question. Here's the question that I have. Where do you put him? Is he just locked in, automatic, no ifs, ands, or buts? He's straight your DH? I say hell yeah. I say hell yeah. I'm not playing around with him in the outfield. We don't need to see him in the net. We don't need to see him trying to jump over a fence. We don't need to see him diving into the wall. We don't need to see him tripping over a blade of grass.
Not diving into the wall, Shawn. No, let me put the background up. Not diving into the wall, Shawn. Hanging on the wall after the ball was 10 feet over your head.
No, I'm saying
you were going to catch it. You know what I mean?
No. I'm saying we don't want to see him do it because I don't want to see him diving into the wall. No, that is hanging over. No, that one's. But I don't want to see him doing anything. I don't want to see him
more specifically.
Yeah, I don't want to see him trip and go head first into the wall. Okay, into the corner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just keep his ass out of there. Andrew Vaughn has done a great job for a guy who's never played left field before. That dude's done a great job.
Was he listed as a first baseman?
Yeah.
First baseman.
He's the guy who's supposed to take over for Abreu.
That's an athletic first baseman there.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing that's really, really benefited the White Sox since this slew of injuries. You got your young guys up and you got them time. And you know what? They've all been successful. We're talking Lamb. Okay, we're talking Gavin Sheets. We're talking Andrew Vaughn. We're talking Zach Collins. All these guys. So now here's what you have. You have guys who, if you need to, what did we just talk about? We talk about that. The trade deadline. If you need to move some guys. Now, not only you're not getting prospects, you're getting guys who've been in the show who have succeeded. That's a lot better than a prospect, because a prospect might hit or miss. Okay, remember? You guys had to move Jorge Soler. Okay, he had a lot of value. Why? Because when he was here, he was knocking the crap out of the ball.
And he hit 50 home runs with the Royals later on. So, I mean.
Okay, so
pretty good. Like you're absolutely. Jorge was one that I was like, no, but you're right. It is what it is at a certain point when you want to win.
Yeah, and it's the cost of doing business. Because now we might. What if we don't? We might not have to dip deep into our farm system. We might not, because they may take two players. Say you want to take Gavin Sheets and another guy, okay, and one prospect, okay. If for Kimbrel, let's just say, just for shits and giggles, okay. Now you're getting three players back, two of them with major league experience, one of them is a prospect. And then you know how Wrigley is. It's like the South Side. It's a launching pad in the summer. Okay, so you're getting guys who are, you're going to get guys who are going to be battle tested. And even though it's a very small sample size, they're still battle tested. And they've had some success. And you see, watching Gavin Sheets, watching Andrew Vaughn, watching Zach Collins, watching Lamb, the moment has not seemed too big for them at all. They've been ready to play when they got here.
And that's part of the comparison between the 15-16 Cubs and last year's team and this year's team. It's like you bring up like last year's team, you had some young guys on the team. The majority of the guys were young, the starters that were on the team. But this year, you're bringing up prospects. You're able to keep the boat afloat with guys from your farm system, with guys that not necessarily that have less, major league experience than your starters significantly, by a lot. And I know that everybody's young on this team, but to be able to just plug and play guys and have them perform, that's one hell of a luxury, Shawn. It really is. You guys haven't had It's like you haven't missed a step all season. The White Sox, that is.
You know what? And it's scary to say that, Ivan, but you're right. And every time another injury happened, I was concerned. And I was, started with Lou Bob. I started with Eloy, and then Lou Bob, and then other guys throughout. Tim Anderson was out. Abreu gets banged in the knee. Yo-Yo was still out at some point. Adam Eaton was out. Adam Eaton, well, he was out too, actually. But Adam Engel, he was out. Billy Hamilton. Every time something happened, I'm like, son of a biscuit, man. Like, you just can't keep adding this emotional stress to your team. Emotionally. Because you can come and get a guy who can swing and play center field, do all this other stuff. But emotionally, you see one of your guys. And here's the problem, or the issue. These are guys you're counting on. Okay, it's not a role player who is getting hurt. These are your big boppers. These are the guys who are going to be MVP candidates, hopefully in the near future. These are guys that are the core of this rebuild that has started quite a long time ago. These are the guys who signed big contracts. Like Joseph and I were talking about. They're overpaid now, but if they continue to live up to their potential, they will be drastically underpaid at the end of that contract. So you're talking about guys who are, for our White Sox, are untouchable. And emotionally, as a team, that's got to wear on you. And this is where Tony La Russa comes in. This is where a Hall of Fame manager comes in. This is where all the people who hated the hire, and I was one of them, I didn't like the hire at all. Okay? But then I did say this guy's been through it all, and he might be here to help this to really kind of get these guys on a straight and narrow. And it wasn't the straight and narrow that he had to get them on. He had to keep them focused when they started losing everybody and their mama.
Yeah, I mean, it's keep them focused, but also know which guys to put in, which guys were ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, managing personalities, you have to give Tony La Russa credit. He's managed the personalities in that clubhouse and as well as he can. I know there was hiccups early in the season, but look what the team has done. Don't look at what the noise. Look at the performance. Look at the performance. They're up 7.5. They have a decent lead. I wouldn't say commanding just yet. They have a pretty solid lead, and I really don't see them taking a back step because they're getting healthy again. Eloy's on his way. We're talking about Lou Bob starting rehab again. You're getting healthy at the right time around the trade deadline, around the All-Star break, where you're able to rest some guys for a little bit and get ready for the second half of the season. And I really feel like that's where you'll see that commanding lead begin to mount.
I hope so, man. I really do. Whatever they're feeding these kids, and this is the player development part, and that's what we were talking last week. And this is the Chris Getzes and all the managers down in the farm system. They're doing a great job. They're doing a great job getting these guys ready. Because as I said, the moment has not been too big for any of those prospects that they brought up. None of them, and that's surprising. What I said in 2016. I'm like this. I said this will never happen again, where every single freaking prospect you brought up hit. And I don't mean physically base hit, but they were successful. And I'm seeing it now, and thankfully it's for my White Sox. But I never thought I'd see that again, where you brought up everybody. There's not one guy who hasn't had a chance that hasn't been successful, offensively. If you want to talk about Aaron Bummer, well, that's another story. But everybody else, the Ricky Vaughn, the Andrew Vaughns, the
Ricky Vaughn,
Ricky Vaughn, the Andrew Vaughns, the Gavin Sheets, the Jake Bergers, the Zach Collins. Those guys, they're hitting. The Billy Hamiltons. Like, dude, Billy Hamilton hit a home run. Leote hit a home run the other day. Like, Leote, these guys don't hit home runs. But what they're doing is they're stepping up. Somebody else each game is taking their turn carrying this team. And young guys have done it, which is beautiful for us. Because, again, trade piece, future core member. What is this guy gonna? What are these guys gonna be? Because you don't know what you got in the minors because they're playing against minor. When you step up into the show and you start having success, now you know what you got. But now other teams know what you have because if you need to move somebody, as I said, Here you go. I got a
You have too many.
yeah. I have a hard hitting first baseman slash left fielder for you. You know, we need this. Okay, let's make that deal. So I'm extremely excited for the way that the first half of this season is ending. Give me 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. Hell, sweep them if we can, but just give me 2 out of 3 from the Orioles, and I'll be good going to the All-Star break, and getting ready for the second half of the season.
You need to sweep that team. You need to sweep that team.
If we sweep, man, yeah.
That's like going and saying, oh, we need to take 2 or 3 from the Pirates. It's like, no, you need to sweep the shit out of the Pirates. You need to sweep the Pirates and get them out of the way. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not trying. I'm not put it this way. I'm not trying to. I just don't want to be that dude.
Right.
You know, I don't want to be that dude. So, you know, the Baltimore. I'm looking at their record, dude. Lord have mercy. It's 28-58.
You need to sweep the Orioles. You need to sweep the Orioles, like I said.
Dude,
you need to sweep the Orioles and continue on to the next series. Dude, but I get where your mentality is.
There's 30 games under 500.
It's the Baltimore Orioles. That's
30 games. Yeah, we got to sweep this team. 30 games under 500. I mean, I don't
nice, no. Like 2 or 3. Look, taking 2 or 3 from the Orioles is like, oh man, our pitcher gave up something late in the ninth, and we ended up losing the game. You know, in the last set, you know, last inning or something. No, you need to blow this team out. You need to do what the Phillies did to us. Is what you need to do. Put up 15 in 3 games or whatever they did.
You know, and here's a good thing, and you're joking about it, but you're serious as well, because this shows you your level of focus. This shows you your level of focus, Sox fans. How focused are they at this particular point? You got a team that sucks. They're 30 games under 500. This is the last series before the All-Star break. How do you go into your All-Star break? How do you go into the All-Star break? Are you going to go in limping? You're going to let this Buster team, a team that's 30 games under 500, 28-58, win a game? Or do you say, hey, listen, you guys suck. We know you suck, and we're going to put you out of your misery. Okay? The problem, and here's the thing that Tony's done a very good job of, not allowing this team to lower themselves to the level of their competition. Okay? Good teams don't do that. And Tony La Russa has done a phenomenal job of keeping these guys on track, keeping these guys focused, and keeping these guys mentally prepared. Because as I said earlier, you can't keep losing guys, and you can't tell me that doesn't take a toll on you mentally. So now here's what Tony La Russa is going to say as a Hall of Fame manager. He's going to say, hey, listen, it's the last 3 games before the All-Star break. Here's what I need you to do. We need to win. It's 1 game at a time, but we need to sweep this team. We need to sweep this team. We need to come and immediately let them know that they don't belong on the same field as we do. First inning, we bat first. We're on the road. We bat first. Let's put a crooked number up on that board. Let them know. Let them know that they are not in the same stratosphere as you. And this is a sign of a champion. The team that's ready to take the next step. This is a sign of a team that's hungry and focused on a World Series. If you can do that, because this is a trap series, Ivan. This is a trap series. 30 games under 500 as you're coming into the All-Star break, when your mind is already saying, yeah, where am I going? Where are me and my lady going? We're going to Dominican Republic. We're going to Curacao. Are we going to Miami? Are we going to LA? Are we going to Rico? Where are we going for these 3 days? You could be checked out. A lot of people are, especially if your team sucks. But if your team sucks and you're playing a team like the White Sox, here's a chance for you. And this is why I'm concerned about this Baltimore Oriole team. And this is why the White Sox need to come out, put their foot on their necks, and don't let up. Do not let up. Pitchers, you have to these pitchers. Let's see who's going for the good guys. This weekend for the pitchers, we got Dallas Keuchel tonight, Lucas Giolito tomorrow, and Dylan Cease closes out the first half of the season. We need phenomenal performances by these three. I'm talking shut down. You don't give a damn. You don't give a damn thing to hit type, hell, no hitter type performances because it keeps you sharp. And these are the games, in addition to some of the other ones, but these are the games that could come back and haunt you at the end of the season when if Cleveland decides to get their act together and turns it around, and now you're fighting for not just playoff position, but the division lead, and you lost 2 and 3 to the Baltimore Orioles right before the All-Star break. That's going to come back and bite you in the ass. Hopefully it doesn't. And this is where Tony La Russa, the Hall of Fame manager, here's why he's getting all the big bucks he's getting. Here's where Jose Abreu and Tim Anderson, they need to talk to the guys and say the same thing, but it's got to come from the top, and then it could filter down to the players. And if I had a guy, well, I did play with guys like that, and I played with a lot of guys like that, and I can tell you, there were some times in the 06 season. That's just telling you how long ago I played. Okay, the 06 season. That was the year we won our first national championship. Due to us blowing out teams, we had a 8-game schedule, 10-game schedule, 8-game schedule. Okay, we had an 8-game schedule. Do you know how many quarters I sat out? I sat out 2.5 games. I sat out 10 quarters. Because we jumped up on teams and did not let up. This is what my White Sox need to do. You need to put your foot in their throat. You need to jump on them early and don't let up. Ivan, 10 quarters. We only played an 8-game regular season schedule. There were times there were 2 games in that season where the coach was like, "You're not going in." I'm like, "Come on, coach." He's like, "All right, you get the first series. First play is going to be a handoff to me." I remember this specifically. And they had a coverage, and they went man to man on our wide receiver that had a single high safety, and they had a guy playing bump and run against Andres. And as soon as I came out of the huddle and he lined up and I saw that, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, son of a bitch. You know why? Because I knew my quarterback was going to audible to a go route with that wide receiver. Sure enough, 2 games, Ivan. 2 games. He audibled to a go route. Touchdown, first play, second half. He goes, "You're done." You're done. So I didn't even play this. I had played 1 play in the second half, 2 games. But it's the mentality that my quarterback had. Put these guys away. And that's what the mentality that these White Sox need to have. Put these guys away. Okay? Do not give them hope.
See, what Vernon says is the biggest thing, I feel like, in those 3 games. Giolito needs to have a good game. He needs to at least have that good feeling going into the All-Star break. Get a victory, or at least a solid outing. You don't necessarily need to get the W, but pitch 7 strong, pitch 6 strong. I just feel like out of everybody in that rotation, Lucas Giolito is the most suspect at this point, because it's like
I would agree.
It's like, who are you? It's like, were you a sticky tech guy? Is that bothering you? You know what I mean? And I'm not accusing him of anything, but what's been the problem with Lucas Giolito that he just doesn't seem to have it? He looks like Kyle Hendricks at the beginning of the year, just not the same type of pitcher, missing spots, just kind of everywhere.
You got your boy. You got Ethan Katz.
Right,
got your boy. So why is your performance slipped to this point? And yeah, maybe it is the sticky stuff. You know what? A lot of players are using it, and from my understanding, it was common knowledge that most pitchers used it. So now,
and they're cracking down on any sticky substance, not just specifically spider tech, any sticky substance. So it's like even if you were using something that was not banned and wasn't spider tech, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's being checked for. So it's like you're going to see guys all over the league being exposed for not having that control, not having that pinpoint control, not having that that break on their breaking pitches, and it's It sucks, but hey, it is what it is. Like if you want to crack down, crack down. I just don't think it was the right time to do it in the middle of the season.
No, it definitely wasn't. And remember when we faced Kenta Maeda, and if you remember that game, Kenta Maeda was airmailing pitches. Dude, this was a guy who was a Cy Young Award winner a couple years ago with the Dodgers. This was a guy who could make this ball do some funny things, and on key pitches. I'm not talking so he'd start first pitch. Catchers, it's up and out away from the zone. I mean, high and away. And you're like, that's not Kenta Maeda. Like, he has had pinpoint control his whole time in the majors. And then it's a 3-2 pitch, whoop, way up and out of the zone, ball 4. He had a good 6 to 8 pitches like that I can remember. Some of them led to a walk. Some of them you're just like, are you kidding? What the hell's going on with this guy?
Right.
And it just makes everybody wonder now, because now they talk about spin rates, and the spin rates are down, and more offense is happening, which is what Major League Baseball wants.
Mm-hmm.
But man, to see some of these pitchers and it's got in their head. And again, for me, I'm thinking just let them get a substance that they can use, juice the baseball, okay? And now there's a competitive advantage for everybody. You got to hit this ball, and I got a little extra tack on it. It's going to break sharper. But if you do hit this ball, guess what? The ball is juiced. It's probably going to go out. The fans, I wouldn't care, dude. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, see, like I've mentioned that a few times to certain people, like, and aloud to myself, like, to see just to hear myself and see if it sounds crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just like, why don't we just have it all? Just screw it all. Just go ahead, free for all. I think there should be a substance, but if the substance is allowing the baseball to do something different, you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, the ball a couple of years ago when they juiced the ball, when Rawlings and Rob Manfred admitted on changing the ball, the ball was going out on fly ball, like balls that were looked like they should be infield flies were going out, to left, to right, to center, and it wasn't benefiting the game whatsoever. It was actually hurting the pitchers. So to me, it's like if you need some type of grip, to maintain control, so you don't go ahead and you're not popping people in the head every time you pitch, I could understand that. But what substance is there? A substance out there that doesn't allow 200 more rounds on your spin for your spin rate? You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't add to your physical performance, because to me that's you're able to put another however many rotations on that baseball, however many 100 rotations on that baseball, that becomes a performance enhancer. And I feel like the difference between that and pine tar is, pine tar, it's like you want that bat to come slip at you at 100 miles an hour. I don't think so. The baseball, I can understand the same thing, but if it's like I said, if you have a substance that's causing the baseball to do something different. The bat does one thing. Doug. It goes through the plane, and that's it. The bat's dead. That's it. The bat's dead. The ball is live. That's a different story.
Yeah. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, what we're going to do is we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk NBA Finals with our guy Darnell Mayberry from The Athletic. And man, it was a great game yesterday. Another good game yesterday. The Phoenix Suns go up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks. So we're going to see his thoughts. Can the Greek Freak and Chris Middleton come back, or is it a done deal? Is the Suns in 4, Suns in 5, and then also, how close are the Bulls to getting that far? We're going to talk to Darnell Mayberry on the other side of the break, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. The rough road for the Cubs continues. They dropped their 12th matchup in their last 13 outings last night, falling 8-0 against the Phillies. Brad Miller with 3 home runs. Philadelphia took 3 of 4 games at Wrigley. The Cubs without stars Chris Bryant and Javier Baez. Bryant's out with a strained right hamstring. Baez out with a right thumb sprain. They're day-to-day. They'll turn right back around this afternoon at home. Right-hander Kyle Hendricks starts. He's 10-4. They'll take on St. Louis and left-hander Wade LeBlanc, who comes in with an 0-1 record. The White Sox have won 7 of 10. They're on top of the American League Central. Central, 7.5 games better than Cleveland. The Sox had the day off. Tonight on the road at Baltimore, lefty Dallas Keuchel starts against right-hander Jorge Lopez. Cleveland picked up a half a game on the Sox, ending a 9-game slide with a 7-4 win over Kansas City Thursday. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry, itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago, and it's TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It is the weekend, baby. It's Flashback Friday. So if you're watching us, and you're like, "What shirt is he wearing?" My Blood In, Blood Out shirt. What's up, Vato? Well, just a classic movie. My Flashback Friday T-shirt, Blood In, Blood Out. So in case you're wondering what shirt I was rocking today on this Flashback Friday. My next guest is a good friend of the program. Covers the Bulls for The Athletic. I figured, you know what, this is a good guy to talk to about the NBA Finals. You can find him on Twitter at Darnell Mayberry, and he's out there driving in the boonies. I think he's going to look for the pot of gold. I'm not sure, but let's find out. Guys, just welcome back Darnell Mayberry. Darnell, what's up, Papa? How are you? There we go. I unmuted you.
There we go. I'm good, Shawn. How you doing today?
You know what? I'm doing well. A little tired. My CrossFit workout kicked my ass this morning, but I'm good. You
got to get in shape for the summer. What's going on? What's the plan?
You know, hell yeah, man. It's summertime shy. What are you talking about? I gotta be at the beach every once in a while. You know, I can't be out there with my belly.
CrossFit, though, that's intense.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Doctor. But I like it. You know what? It reminds me of a lot of my football training and getting ready for the season, those type of deals. And I you know what? When you talk about a stress release, there you go. CrossFit, it'll release all the stress you need. It is intense, and I love it. I love it.
Cool. Might give it a shot someday.
Man, I'm telling you, you'll be like, damn, I can do that. I didn't know I was that strong. It's addicting. It's kind of like a cult. Trust me.
I've heard good things.
Yeah. So now I'm looking on eBay. I'm like, okay, what kind of CrossFit shoes can I get? So
hardcore. I got
man, it is. Let's talk about this little series they got that was going on in Phoenix the last couple of nights. This NBA finals type thing, I think it's called. Dude, how excited are you that it's two, or were you excited that it's two smaller market teams? People were thinking Brooklyn and LA. I know the NBA wanted that, obviously, for viewership reasons. But to me, this series has been very entertaining with the Greek Freak, Devin Booker, and CP3.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted Brooklyn and LA too. When the Lakers lost, I was hoping for the Nets and the Clippers to see KD and Kawhi go head to head, and Paul George and James Harden. Reggie Jackson and Kyrie Irving. There's bad blood between those two. But I love the game. I love the sport, and we're still seeing some great players, some legendary players, put it all on the line. Chris Paul, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Devin Booker, Chris Middleton. I mean, you're still seeing some of the greats in today's game and some new stars come into the picture like Booker. So I don't mind it. I like that another market can get a chance to taste some of that finals experience. I mean, it's not something that happens to a lot of different franchises, so I'm a fan of it.
I am too. I like Phoenix. It sucks. Milwaukee's not a great, really great town. Maybe it's just me and my Chicago bias because I'm 90 miles to the south and, ain't nothing like the Shy. Phoenix is a cool town. Phoenix is a great town to hang out in and get it in. But, I would have liked bigger markets as well. But let's talk about the players. Is Devin Booker, in your opinion, was he a star in your eyes? And is he becoming a superstar? Or where do you see Devin Booker? Because this dude can flat out ball.
Yeah, he's 2 wins away from being a made man at the tender age of, 24? It's incredible what he's doing in this postseason, and even going back to last year in the bubble and how he's exploded onto the scene. People didn't have a reason to watch the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they were one of the worst run franchises in the NBA with one of the owners with the worst reputations, and Robert Sarver. And all of a sudden, James Jones comes in as general manager, makes a couple of moves, and lo and behold, they're in the NBA Finals. With no one except Devin Booker has been doing this. It's one thing to do it in the regular season. It's another thing to do it on the postseason stage, as you know. So the fact that he's doing it now, and if he gets these last, be a man.
How much of a difference and is Chris Paul, because he's just a point guard, but you had he came in and they're in the NBA Finals. He's making guys that we thought were bust. Like I thought DeAndre Ayton was a bust. I thought he was playing just aimlessly around. You had Jay Crowder, who's a phenomenal role player, but I think he's a role player. How important has Chris Paul been to these guys in getting them to the finals?
Huge. You saw it with Ricky Rubio and his imprint on those Suns a few years back. So I just think expectations every day probably is something that goes unnoticed probably by a lot of people, casual fans. When you got a guy like that,
We're having a little audio difficulty with Darnell. What we'll do is once he gets the stream back, get a little clearer. I know he's driving out in the boonies. We appreciate. Yeah.
Man's greatness every single.
Guys, we're talking with Darnell Mooney from the who covers the Bulls for The Athletic. Talking a little NBA Finals right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Talk to me about DeAndre Ayton. I just talked about him. I just mentioned him, and I thought he was playing aimlessly. He was the number 1 draft pick overall a couple of years ago. When I coming out of college out of Arizona, I wasn't really impressed with him. Okay, I was like, okay, I don't understand why he's the number 1 player. Then he gets to the NBA and he's again playing aimless basketball. It didn't seem like he went to work. He was a young kid, he was a one and done kid, if I'm not mistaken. And apparently they put signs up and showed him where the weight room is, because that young man has really done a number on his body That young man has really done a number down low. And that young man has done something that's really, really not done now, and that's be a big man. He's not out there shooting threes, and trying to handle the ball and everything. He likes to rim run, run the rim to rim, protect it, rebound. Talk to me about DeAndre Ayton, and can he be the guy who kind of brings basketball back to more of a traditional style, especially the big man?
Yeah, Shawn, you're cutting in and out a little bit. I think I got your questions, but bear with me if I'm cutting in and out. But, I love what I'm seeing from him. He's doing the little things, and he's highly effective doing those things. Like you mentioned, he's just running from rim to rim, scoring in transition, making plays with energy and hustle, catching dump-off passes out of the pick and roll, finishing the lob dunks, so rebounding, playing defense. He's doing those little things where he's allowing Devin Booker and Chris Paul to be the stars, and he's eating off of everyone else, taking advantage of him doing those little things. So I like what I'm seeing from DeAndre.
What about campaign? I know he only had 2 points yesterday, but we thought he was done. The Suns went and grabbed him off the scrap heap. He was here in Chicago, so you got to cover him. Was for a season or so, and he was a bust in my opinion. He was a bust. He goes to Phoenix. He's got a coach who believes in him. He's got a squad around him. Now this guy's actually a contributor, a major contributor on this Phoenix Suns championship or NBA Finals team. What happened to campaign, or why is he doing so well and he couldn't do well here in Chicago?
It's interesting, Shawn. I wrote a story on The Athletic about 2 years ago about Cameron Payne, and it wasn't received well. That's how much of a villain Cameron Payne was here in Chicago. Just no one wanted him. And
nope.
In that article, I tried to capture everything that he had been through as a former lottery pick, the former backup to Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City, who was known more for dancing, before the start of games than he was for his play. But he had a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks that, the casual fans just don't care about. They want to see you produce, especially that's what happened to him here in Chicago when they traded Taj Gibson for him. And I think Doug McDermott was in that trade as well, who they drafted high. So, it was just unfortunate circumstances for him. And he didn't, I don't think, had the confidence. I don't think he had the confidence while he was here in Chicago to really go out there and perform the way he has. I think what's been different for him now is that he's got a coach in Monty Williams who he worked with in Oklahoma City briefly, who believes in him. He's got those superstars in Devin Booker and Chris Paul who believe in him and allow him to go out there and perform. So I just think it's night and day. He's grown. You can tell that he's expanded his game, and he's playing with a new level of confidence.
You're damn right, because I never seen that confidence from that dude here. Only time I saw him confident was when he was dancing during the warm-ups for OKC, literally.
But Shawn, you remember he had that one game where he had like 7 threes in a game?
Yeah, he could unstoppable, and I thought he was about to cry in the interview.
That was the start of it, man. You can see the flashes, but it was few and far between.
Man, who you telling, dude? We're critical about our teams here in Chicago, and yeah, they just the media, the fans, and they were just all over that guy, and it was rough for him. And again, it's not him personally that we didn't like. We didn't dislike Cameron Payne. We just like Cameron Payne, the basketball player. That's and it's right. Tough, especially when you're that young, and it's to separate. Like they don't like me. No, they don't like you, the basketball player. But it's very difficult to, and then your confidence gets shot, and then we're relentless here in Chicago as a lot of other big cities. So it's very easy to do a number on somebody, and it doesn't matter how much talent you have. If you don't have confidence in yourself, it doesn't matter what you got, because it's not going to show through. So, I'm happy for him that he's a contributor on that Phoenix Suns team. What about Milwaukee? What does Milwaukee need to do now to stop this run because they're two losses away, from extinction, not extinction, but from losing the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I think going home to Milwaukee is going to help for sure. Giannis looks much better than he did in Game 1, and he's going to have another 48 hours or so, 72 hours maybe. I don't know if Game 3 is Sunday, but
Sunday.
Yeah, so he's going to have more time to rest, and that's going to help. And, after Game 1, it was clear that they needed to pick Chris Paul and Devin Booker and Cameron Payne in the pick and roll. After Game 2, it's clear that Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, they just got to play better. Drew Holiday, I counted about 4 missed layups last night.
Yes.
When did Drew Holiday start missing all of these layups? So if they just play better, and I think going home is going to solve a lot of that for them. Milwaukee, I think, is going to be fine in Game 3. They got some of the best versions of the Phoenix Suns that you've seen all season in Games 1 and 2. The performance from Chris Paul in Game 1, the performance from Booker last night in Game 2, the performance from DeAndre Ayton, who we talked about in Game 1. I think he had 22 points and 19 rebounds. So, can Phoenix continue to play this well, and will Milwaukee continue to play this poorly?
I know Milwaukee hopes that they don't. Talk about another guy that you covered, and I'm really liking him. He stepped in for the Greek Freak when he got hurt. I'm talking about Crazy Eyes himself, Bobby Portis. I've always been a big Bobby Portis fan. Didn't exactly like the fact that he gave a boy a two-piece, but that's another story. But now he's been a pretty nice contributor on this Milwaukee team. How good can Bobby Portis be?
I mean, he can score, that's for sure. And he's got great energy. We've always known him to play with that great energy. But, defensively, he's still not the best defender. He plays hard, he tries hard, but maybe that's going to be, if anything, I think that'll be the thing that holds him back from being, truly great player. But, what he's doing in Milwaukee, we saw him do with the Bulls. What he did with the Bulls, we saw him do in Washington when he was traded there, and then in New York. So he's got a long history of being a key contributor no matter where he is, and it's just good to see him have some success on the biggest stage right now in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I do I've always liked him. I love his intensity. I love his him running up and down the court. I like that kind of player. I like an emotional type of player. He just needed to make sure that he was able to control his emotions as he let it get the best of him and practice that one particular day. So that really sucked. But speaking of the Bulls, and guys, we're joined by Darnell Mayberry from The Athletic talking NBA Finals right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Speaking of the Bulls, the Phoenix Suns were one of the worst teams out in the NBA a couple of seasons ago with a lot of the players that they have now. Now they're in the NBA Finals. How far do you think the Bulls are from getting to a deep run in the playoffs, or God forbid I say the NBA Finals?
I can't see it. I don't mean to laugh at the question, and that's not the intention. I just can't see it. It's more I'm laughing at the Bulls.
I appreciate the honesty, bro.
Yeah,
keep it real.
Where they're
here.
coming from, and what I've seen. I've covered this team the last 4 seasons now, and every time you think that they're on the right track, something happens, or there's regression or injuries. It's all Zach LaVine getting caught up in COVID-19 safety protocols, health and safety protocols in the last stretch of the season, this season. So it just seems to be something that always keeps them from taking that next step. I thought they had a solid season in terms of improvement this year. It obviously wasn't good enough to even make the play-in tournament, but the Suns are showing, that you just never know. Toronto showed that last year. So if they can go out there and make some significant changes this year, and Zach returns and Nikola Vucevic return, and they take their games to the next level, they could be a first-round team. They could maybe sneak into the second round. Atlanta showed you that a couple key free agent additions could go a long way. Internal improvement with Trae Young helped, and coaching, obviously. Changing over to Nate McMillan from Lloyd Pierce, that helped them tremendously. So maybe the change from Jim Boylan to Billy Donovan and another year, a full year of Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, and another year for Patrick Williams. All of these things, you just never know. They got to make some free agent changes, though. They got to get some more talent in here.
Point guard situation, that's one of the areas that we all can see. You don't need to be a blind man to see that. You could be a blind man and still see the fact that we need a point guard. What do you think the Bulls do, or how do you think they address that issue? The LeVar Ball, not LeVar, LaMelo, which one of the balls? Lonzo.
Yeah.
I know it's like 12 of them, and Dad. The Lonzo Ball talk was very popular. Who do you see them going that route? Do you see them drafting a guy? Do you see them trading for another point guard? How do you think they address that issue? Because I think they need a point guard, because you see what Chris Paul's done, and maybe you get a veteran one similar to him, and if so, who do they go get? Because they need something, and I think if they do have a guy who can run the show, I think it'll be a huge help for this young team.
The tricky part, though, is I could sit here and throw out names all day long, but how they're going to do it is the sticking point. And so that's the big question. I mean, they don't have enough salary cap space or projected salary cap space to go out there and sign someone outright. They don't have the trade assets to go out there and really get someone who's going to make a huge difference. But if they can get a guy like a Mike Conley, and again, it's easy for me to say that, but how are they going to do it? I think someone like that who's going to come in, be able to organize the offense, take pressure off Zach LaVine and Vucevic, play some defense and knock down open shots. I mean, that's what this team really needs, is a steady hand at that point guard position. And a veteran like that, or even a Ricky Rubio type, can make a huge impact. And again, how are they going to do it? That's what we're waiting to find out in the next couple of weeks.
Darnell, one last question before we let you go, and we appreciate the time. And I know you're driving and took time out to give us a buzz while you're on the road. We truly appreciate it. What's the deal with marketing? Is he gone? Are they trying to find just let him test the waters, because he is a restricted free agent where they can match his contract? Are they going? You think they will if the price is low enough? What do you think the Bulls want to do with Lauri Markkanen, who's shown flashes but just hasn't shown consistency? It seems like we have a yeah, he's driving and he hit a rough patch. Interview was pretty good. All right, well, you know what, we'll have to catch up with Darnell again on at another junction. He must have hit a spot, a dead zone, so to speak. But yeah, I want to see what he had to say about Lauri Markkanen, just because. Do the Bulls match any qualifying offer? Okay. He's a guy that we've seen him. You know, there are times when I've watched this guy play.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening with the audio. It's coming in and out.
Yeah, it's going in and out. Darnell, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, he dropped. But okay. Anyway, I like Lauri. I don't understand. And maybe it's me. Alex Acevedo, about to look forever, Holmes. Órale, sí. Carnal, eh? I don't understand how you can get to that level. Okay. And understand and know that you're playing against the best players in the world. Okay. How you can get to that level and not consistently work on your game. Especially when you've seen you can dominate at that level. Ivan, we've seen him down. He dropped 30 and 15. And you're like, look at this son of a biscuit. This dude is a monster.
Who's he dominating against, though?
It didn't matter because that gives you confidence. And you know what? And now you get confidence that, hey, now listen, now let me go against this guy. It doesn't, you know what I mean? So you get a good game, and all of a sudden you come up against a good defender. Wouldn't you want? And if he gets the best of you, guess what? That's called sports. That's called competition. Why? I can't fathom that, Ivan. I can't fathom. You know what? You got me this game. Come on, watch next game. Work on your game. Get stronger. Get more post moves. Get more counter moves. Dunk on people. Talk a little shit. Get fired up. Get yourself, because what happens when you project yourself, you get a reputation quickly. We saw the reputation for Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is going to dunk on your head. Mm-hmm. Okay, he was going to block shots, maybe punch you in the face if you got out of line.
Yeah, let's take a Bobby Portis right now.
Okay, but he's gonna dunk on you. He's gonna block shots. He's gonna run the court. He's gonna play some decent defense. Although he's not playing it now. You get a rep, and the more you attack people, the more people kind of they understand this is who you are, and the weak will fall off. And this guy has the talent. He definitely has the talent to be a star in this league. He just doesn't have the consistency, or maybe it's just the mental makeup.
Well, like Darnell said, year 2 with Billy Donovan, Mo Cheeks and company, does that change Lowry? Do we see a different Lowry in the postseason? Do we see in the preseason? Do we see a different Lowry during his workout? Like, do we see that switch turn on? Or are we going to see the same guy? And I'm afraid that we're going to see the same guy. I'm afraid to invest in a guy that's going to be just dead weight at a certain point. And why not just cut ties as is? Just let him go, and see where you can go with this team right here, right now. Because first of all, you're going to save money that you could probably use for somebody who's ready right now, ready for your team right now. And I feel like Lowry just needs a good situation. I don't think the Bulls were ever a good situation for Lowry. I think moving him maybe out west, maybe send him somewhere in maybe send him to Dallas. Send him to
him and Porzingis.
Him and Porzingis.
Luka.
Send him to Portland. See if that works. Send him somewhere where he'll feel a little more comfortable. I feel like he's just kind of a little bit soft. We've talked about it. He's just a little bit soft to me.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I think he's got to man up. But I could say that about a lot of players in the NBA nowadays, manning up in this flopping bullshit and this, oh my God, they're flying, they're sliding 35 feet after a charge. Like, come on, dude, stand there, take a charge, embellish a little bit, but I don't need you sliding 20 feet after the guy, hits you on a charge. Come on. Don't give me that nonsense. Well, listen, you just got me fired up. And we got to take a quick break. And this next guy is going to really get me fired up. It's my man. You know what time it is. 11 o'clock on Friday, 11 o'clock Central Time on Friday. It's time for the two-back set. So on the other side of the break, my man himself, the draft doctor, the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Toshin, and your boy, the Superback, in the two-back set, talking Bears. Some good news. We got some dates that were dropped on us, baby. We got some dates from the organization, or if I'm Canadian, from the organization. Let us know some key dates, and we're going to talk about those and a whole lot of other Bear stuff. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. The two-back set with the Superback and the Draft Doctor coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
Take off the glasses, please. You look familiar. You got a record?
Yes, sir, he's got a record. He's got a great record. The Black Rooster, 13 KOs. Paco Aguilar, El Gallo Negro. He's got a great right uppercut.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago. The rough road for the Cubs continues. They dropped their 12th matchup in their last 13 outings last night, falling 8-0 against the Phillies. Brad Miller with 3 home runs. Philadelphia took 3 of 4 games at Wrigley. The Cubs without stars Chris Bryant and Javier Baez. Bryant's out with a strained right hamstring. Baez out with a right thumb sprain. They're day-to-day. They'll turn right back around this afternoon at home. Right-hander Kyle Hendricks starts. He's 10-4. They'll take on St. Louis and left-hander Wade LeBlanc, who comes in with an 0-1 record. The White Sox have won 7 of 10. They're on top of the American League Central. 7.5 games better than Cleveland. The Sox had the day off. Tonight on the road at Baltimore, lefty Dallas Keuchel starts against right-hander Jorge Lopez. Cleveland picked up a half a game on the Sox, ending a 9-game slide with a 7-4 win over Kansas City Thursday. Download the free Score app. Lightning fast updates so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the SportsZone Chicago.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Shit goes downhill. You would think guys would fucking pick up their game. And
they're not going to have a $39 million cap hit for a guy who's not there. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. And you know what that intro is. It's time for the 2-back set with my guy, the draft doctor himself, the guy you can find on IG. He's not much of a Twitter guy. You can find him on IG. You see it right there at Phil_Toshin. My man, Phil Toshin. Phil, what's up, Papa? How are you?
It never gets old, that 2-back set open. I tell you. I love it.
Dude, so you know what's funny is, so you saw my lineman in there who just jumped up as I was scoring a touchdown. So I hadn't seen him since we graduated. Okay, I ran into him. So one of our former players, one of my teammates, lives out here by me. A lot of those guys live out here by me. And he's like, you know what? I'm having some of the guys over. So we got together, and he was there. And I was like, oh my God. And it was I think it might have been the first week we did that Ivan had put that together. And I was like, His name is Mauro Franzese, big Italian dude, big. He's like 6'3", 6'4". And I was like, Mauro, we started talking like, dude, I can't believe, it's been so long and this and this. He's like, man, he goes, I remember, my favorite memory of us is when I'm, so we're playing Leo High School. He goes, in that Leo game, and when you scored a long touchdown, I was like, hold on. I said, well, you're part of our show. He's like, what? I showed him the thing. He's like, no way, dude, that's cool. I was like, yeah, brother. I was like, see, it says you're always on my mind, Big Moro. You're always on my mind. So yeah, that's awesome, dude. Hats off to our guy Ivan, who, man, he keeps coming up with funky ass shit like every single day.
I'm trying to think of what song is that.
May kick a little something for the G's and
I knew there was a lyric.
Gin and juice. Gin and juice.
Yeah. My wife would have got that right away. If she's watching, she's probably like, come on, you didn't know that?
She's like, let me call him right now.
Yes.
Let me call him right now and tell him.
She did call me earlier today. She's like, so every Friday you're on with Shawn. I go, yep, I'm his Bears update guy. I'm his go-to. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, man, we got some key dates, man.
Yeah.
July 27th, the Players Report. So that is a Tuesday. The reason I know that is because my birthday is July 25th.
I know. I share a birthday with Walter Payton.
Yes.
And the smartest man. Look at that.
And my guy Armando Lara.
Oh yeah, Armando, our guy.
Yep.
Is he in the chat today?
He is. He said I didn't know that gin and juice. He didn't know. I get it, Mondo. That's you're not really a hip hop head, Mondo. That's okay. Junior. I get it. But yeah, so we share a birthday as well, too. And like I told you, I think I know 4 other people with my birthday. I'm like, first of all, I'm older than you. Well, I'm not older than Junior, but everybody else I'm older than, so it's my birthday.
Yes. Except Walter Payton.
And the great man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Did you see Doug Plank jumped on our show and I had him talk about Walter Payton for a little while? It was like goosebumps.
I didn't see the show. I was going to watch it today or tomorrow when I got around to it. But yeah, I tuned in. I didn't get to tune in. I tuned in late. If you saw, I left a comment.
Yeah,
there.
I did comment after the show. I was like, I would have liked to talk about the field turf.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's funny. I was having this conversation, and I should talk to my guy Mark and be like, listen, at least just kind of bring it up, because you're in the room. So you're like, hey, why would you, not think about it when you have this team that you want? When you have this, it just doesn't make any sense. But then again, it's our Bears.
I always say, Shawn, Bill Belichick said on a Monday, listen, we're going to field turf. That next Sunday they were playing at home on field turf. The rest is history. I mean, they're a dynasty, and I get the historical stuff, but sometimes change is gonna come, as they say. Well, it is for the better sometimes, and the reality is, if you built a team with two, listen, I said it the other day, I'll say it again, even with Doug on the show. Olin Kreutz actually said, you look in the history of the NFL, every Super Bowl team has a first ballot Hall of Famer on it. We had Brian Urlacher, he said. That defense, and I'm paraphrasing, wasn't the same if he wasn't there, right?
Yeah, hell no.
So now you got Khalil Mack, who I believe is the best player I've ever seen since Walter in a Chicago Bears uniform. And you're putting him on a muddy soil, slippery turf that you don't know what you're getting each and every Sunday. Then on the other side, you have a guy that has more bend than Beckham and Robert Quinn, and you're putting him on a shitty surface. You're paying. It's not like you're not paying millions of dollars.
And millions.
Millions. Where's millions? And the reality is, wouldn't you want that to be an advantage for you? Now, in Olin's term, he was like, well, we did have the advantage because we were able to slow people down, use our run game, and that team was built with Reuben Brown, Garza, him,
Thomas Jones.
yeah, exactly. They were freaking ground and pound. Lovey, we got off the bus running. Now you got Matt Nagy. He forgot what a run play is. So wouldn't you think that this would be the time to like benefit the new era of the Chicago Bears to do the do. Don't be about it, do about it, George. And get field turf put down so every game, all your functioning, all the high school games, all the college, whatever is played on that, and they're not ripping up the field for what the field is meant for, the Chicago Bears. I mean, to me, it's like 12 years past due.
You look at all the fast teams. You want a fast track. It just makes sense. You're not gonna. They don't run a 100-meter dash in sand or in mud. Okay, they run on a rubber track. Okay, get these guys on the track. The greatest show on turf. Okay, they didn't. They had turf. They didn't have grass. They didn't have hybrid. It was turf. It was a fast track. You built the team for a fast team, and now you're gonna keep them there. And Alex posted, now the Fire plays there, they're gonna keep it grass. Hell, yeah, they are. But you know what? You could play. Hey, here's a little thing for all you soccer guys. You can play soccer on turf, on field turf.
Yeah,
I don't know if they knew that. I don't know if they knew that or not, but you can. But for whatever reason, it bugs me. These are the common sense things. Okay. This is where you're not vibing. Okay. This is where you're not vibing. The upper, well, we're doing this, and then the team. This is where you're not just. Good football people know. You just talked about Bill Belichick. Said, "Hey, we're going to field turf on Monday, and Sunday they played on field turf." It would take literally 48 hours to get it in, get it settled. Come on, and there goes all your problems. The park district doesn't have to resod it. That's a cost that you don't have to have.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Listen, if the Chicago Bears grass was pristine, it wouldn't even be a concern, to be perfectly honest. But because we all know that they struggle I think the last time I had someone on a show that I talked to that was involved with the district, they had tried like 4 different strains of grass, from Kentucky, that didn't grow, then this other. So to go through those things on a playing surface alone, when you have a resolution, it's 2021. The research shows, one thing for whatever narrative you want. Let's just recognize what Shawn is saying. The preparedness is in the dollars and cents of your franchise. Now you got Damiere Byrd, Darnell Mooney, and Marquise Goodwin that are speedsters. You're trying to run an offense based on speed and RPO game and all of that, and you're putting yourself in an environment that you're, getting woodchucks and spraying that shit down, sawdust, and painting it green at halftime to make it look good for television, when ultimately the players and the league, and they've had how many votes of player, what's the best service, what's the worst service, and the Bears are always in the top 7 worst surfaces throughout the league. So let's alleviate that, Ted and George, and just put down field turf, put the C on there, fuck the Fire and everybody else that you think is going to be playing on this field. It's the Bears. You want them to stay? Well, treat them like that is the most important thing in the world, and it just hasn't happened. It just hasn't.
So I'm excited. So they released the dates, as you said. July 27th is the players report. And August 3rd. So August 3rd is going to be Bears Family Fest. It's just really cool. So they practice at Soldier Field, and I'm sure they probably do the same thing in New England, but they practice at Soldier Field, and tickets are like $5 to get in. So you could bring your family, because we know regular tickets are nowhere near $5. And and so they usually
Imagine.
sell out. They usually get a good, really, really good crowd, and it's your first time seeing it. And you know what? It's the Bears like up close. I'm still upset about. I'm still hurting about the Bourbonnais thing. I really am. I understand why
Yeah.
they're not going to Bourbonnais. A lot more than meets the eye. A lot of behind closed doors, things are behind the curtain. Things that are happening and were not happening. So, they decided to get out early. But you know what? This is going to be fun. They're going to have 1,000 people there, which I'm still trying to figure out. I sent you pictures of that. So they're going to have, it says Bears practices are going to be open to 1,000 people. That's interesting because I don't know how where they're going to fit 1,000 fans. I guess they got to get portable stands because there's no stands at Hallis Hall. So it's just, I don't know, but I'm excited to see this training camp. You're going to have to, there's going to be a lot of battles, position battles that I can't wait to see. Let's talk about the offensive line. We'll get to the quarterback one because that's the low hanging fruit, but the offensive line battle, talk to me about that one because, we got 3 or 4 people or 5 people for the 2 guards in the center slot. We got Alex Bars, we got James Daniel, we have Cody Whitehair, we have Sam Mustipher, we have Eisen. What was your guy's name? Lincoln Eisen?
Dieter
Eisen. Dieter, there's 5 guys for 3 spots.
Mm-hmm.
And then not to mention the tackle spots. You got the 2 rookies. You got Jermaine Ifedi. You just signed another tackle as well. So there's competition. How do you think that's going to play out?
Well, you hope that they go and follow the narrative. If you can't preach, we're building competition everywhere, then go into camp and then, all right, we paid Ifedi all this money. Borum's a rookie. Let's just play Ifedi if Borum is playing better. That kind of stuff has happened years after years with this franchise, where other franchises recognize the best football players should play. I know it sounds simple, and people that are just learning the game or just love the game are like, no way. No, there's a lot of politics that go into football in Chicago. It's just not with all of the politics with the mayor and everything there. The crookedness happens on the football field, and it's unfortunate because you just hurt yourself. So hopefully, Coach Nagy and company have learned from their mistakes. And when I say that, it was the bubble wrap season where they just sat everybody. Now, last year, COVID obviously put aside all of the scrimmages and inter-squad practices. I know they have that going on this year with the Dolphins. So when I look at this offensive line, I get excited because they recognize Charles Leno was an issue, even though the Blog Boys couldn't, and defined it as a big loss for the Bears. You got better by getting rid of him. So
Addition by
now
subtraction.
they're become addition by subtraction. Now you got Tevin Jenkins. You got to be excited about this kid. Obviously, he's a rookie, and you got some veterans in there that are going to be hopefully kicking down doors to get out there and beat Jenkins. So that only helps you as a franchise. So Juan Castillo and Coach Nagy are going to have to be step for step in how they see this offensive line going out there in training camp. And really, ultimately, Shawn, if I was the head coach, my battles would be won during those scrimmages. I want to, shuffle the deck. I'm going to give this guy this game or this half to start. I want to see him going up against for how many reps, going at it, going after it. And then we're really going to assess this and open that competition up to these players because they're young. Borum and Jenkins also have an attitude that we haven't seen here since Olin Kreutz and Reuben Brown and company were out there on the football field, where you knew as a fan or as a coach that you were going to be in for a day because that offensive line had an attitude about it that they were going to win that football game. So you got to be excited. Interiorly, James Daniels coming back off a pec injury. He was probably your best offensive lineman, and then he went to the injured reserve there. So he's coming back off injury. How does Sam Mustipher handle this, I guess Nagy's crowning his ass, stealing from the famous Denny Green there.
This, God
I
rest his soul.
say that's the kind of stuff I worry about with Nagy. This is our set. No, no one has a job. Nobody. That's how you should stand in front of the media. Everybody's be working. We're going to find the 5 best. We're going to put them out there and we're going to roll with them. They took what? 12, 15 weeks, 14 weeks to figure out their five best, and you saw it perform on the field. It helped the offense. You destroyed a 6-game losing streak that you tried to make a
Hype up.
positive out of. But yeah, hype that up. I'm gonna hype up, the competition's there. I hope, as Gary Williams would say, I hope there's hope here. And the talent's there. Like, I'm excited to see how James comes back. I want to see the battle between Dieter Eiselen and Sam Mustafer. I don't want it to be just given to Mustafer. As I've said many a times, the proof is in the pudding. I've seen Mustafer play. I see the mistakes. I hope he worked hard on his body because he wasn't strong enough at the point of attack to be in a zone scheme. He has to be better. He says he works out, but we're going to find those answers out. Cody Whitehair coming back. Now he's going to stay at left guard. So that means James Daniels is going to be your right guard. Is it Affetti or Borum? Jenkins on the left. You got Alexander. You also have another veteran they signed, like you said. I can't remember the dude's name.
Me either.
And how they're going to play that off. It's going to be interesting because you know what? This team is going to win as many games as this offensive line allows them to win. So it's really in the hands of Nagy and Castillo. Now, as a coach, I would tell you, your offensive line coach is your number one most important hire. It is the most important hire you have in coaching because you have to trust that guy. He is a teacher, a motivator, and has his guys ready to do the things that you want to do as a play caller. And if Juan is kowtowing to Nagy and just giving Nagy what he wants to hear, then you're lost. So hopefully there is a real, true competition that goes on because you and I, Shawn, are going to show it on the film. I know on our network we already have full intent. Again, the all 22 isn't given in the preseason, or else I would be going ballistic. So we got to do some other ways, but you still a game. You still could see the game within the game if you know what you're looking at. And I'm going to make sure to recognize those players that should be starting. I'm too tired of seeing just jobs handed to people. And Eiselen gets me excited. I can't help that. What I saw on his college tape, talking to the kid, and his story alone. I know Sam, undrafted free agent, busted his ass. Now he's in the NFL. That's a great story too. You got to have that hunger and that drive. Sam has it. So does Dieter. I think the center position is one of the most exciting things to watch in camp, and I'll be all over it, recognizing who's going to be that guy for the Chicago Bears. Because when you have a rookie quarterback or a veteran, that center position becomes very intricate to what it is you want to do.
Yeah, and I forgot we didn't even mention Alex Bars too. I mean, that's another guy at the guard position that's going to be fighting for some spots, and I love it. I love it. And you know what I'm actually hoping that we have. I'm hoping we have like a University of Kentucky scenario from way back in the day when Rick Pitino was getting just all these blue chippers, and there'd be a whistle and you'd 5 in and 5 out. You had where you could literally just he'd have 8 blue chippers out of his 12 players on the team. And you talk about offensive lines and say, hey, listen, you look at teams and say, you know what, this team was successful. If you look at they had the same offensive line for 12 or 15 out of the 16 games, or now soon to be 17 this year. This case amount could be different, where you can literally plug guys in. So if someone gets hurt, so if a guard, Cody Whitehair gets hurt. Well, Alex Bars can step right in because he's already played a whole season and nothing is lost. It's literally next man up. It's seamless. And I think that's where the Bears are going with this. And if that's the case, that could be the blueprint for a lot of other teams to, because you get backups. You're like, oh, I want this guy here who can do here. But you need quality backups. And that's going to do a lot for the free agents. The undrafted free agents to say, hey, listen, let's start taking a look at some of these guys because they came from a Yale, a smaller school, or a Holy Cross, or a Northern Michigan, or something like that. Let's see what they got, because these are the guys that are really, really, really hungry because they know the odds are against them. And these are the guys that say, hey, what would you do to make this team? Like, I'd run through a wall. Boom, they run through a wall. Those are the kind of guys you want on your offensive line.
Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, Parcells, they understood the undrafted isn't nobody. They decide to write their story.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the coaches that recognize it. And it's unfortunate with Chicago, you see the Bob Christians, undrafted, then he makes the team. He goes on to be a Pro Bowler with the Atlanta Falcons. These are the stories that I've seen happen with the Chicago Bears when you got a rough and you let it go somewhere else. You need to be able to recognize these talented football players. And again, I was just using a fullback off the top of my head. Todd Berger, if you remember him in the 90s, he was, a guy that undrafted out of Penn State. He worked his way and they gave him a shot. To Tony Wise's credit, he recognized this kid could play for us. So that's what it is. Look at Arlington Hambright, 7th round pick. You recognized him, you scouted him, you drafted him. What does he have to say about the competition? That's what it is. It's how you are looked in the mirror. Do you want this? Because at that position, again, it's about technique and want to. Determination, as my father would say all the time. It's about the determination that you have. There's been times, Shawn, you and I know, we've been around people that are 20 times a better athlete than myself, but they didn't give a crap. They were good for nothing, we used to call them. And if you put your determination on that kid would have went to the NFL and maybe the Hall of Fame. It's just about an attitude. It's about preparation. So I never count anybody out. And I think there's another game out of Colorado. I remember Jay Hilgenberg, same thing. He wasn't drafted, went on to be great on the offensive line, Armand. You're 100% right. Jay Lewenberg with Wanstead out of Colorado. I remember him, undrafted. Don't worry about where they're drafted. Worry about how they perform. I always say this. We have a T-shirt now, Shawn, on our network for the Chicago Bears, for the change. Performance over politics. Just for this reason, because we got to get the best out there. We got to get the best out there. We want to win a championship. Let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine scouts for the New England Patriots. Well, he scouted this wrestler who stopped wrestling. All right? The Patriots signed the kid, end up becoming a starter on the offensive line at offensive guard. He played 1 year of football in high school. You telling me that isn't coaching and determination? That's the recipe. That's the recipe. You find the talent, you believe in it, and you get that person that has that determination. You could find starters. You can build off that. You can't just go and allow a guy like Charles Leonard to be out there because you saw that he gives it. Well, he's there every week, but he's not working on his craft. He's not dominating. If you're settling for below average, you're losing. That's the point we're trying to make here with me and Shawn, is that this competition on the offensive line, as much hype as it going with Justin Fields and Andy Dalton, I'm telling you right now, I'll never come on this show again if you don't believe me. The offensive line competition is the most important competition in this whole entire franchise going to this camp. That's the truth.
Yep. Agreed. And you know what? I'm looking forward to it because it's going to set the tone. It's going to set the tone for, and I played behind some just nasty some bitches, dude. And those are the guys that
Yes.
I mean,
Makes
you
your
just
job easier.
yeah. And you know what?
Hell yeah.
It makes football fun. It makes it more enjoyable because and I know we want the pass. I know we want the the chicks dig the long ball. They like the 70-yard touchdown and everything. I get it. But there's nothing like, especially here in Chicago, there's nothing like seeing the Bears just run right down someone's throat and they can't stop it. They just
They have the
cannot
talent to do
stop
it,
it.
Shawn.
Yes, they do.
They got depth at running back. Again, David Montgomery calling out the coach when the coach doesn't know he's mic'd up. That moment, whether I believe David planned it perfectly to get, his
Get them on
presence
tape.
felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it on tape. Tape don't lie. And the coach got. My father didn't like that he did it, but I did because I knew more so than my father that the coach doesn't know how important the run game is. You and I know that, but I think Matt Nagy has to recognize you can't just talk about it, coach. You got to be about it. And let's face it, Shawn, there's so much talent on this football team on paper.
Yeah.
And if you get that quarterback position right, you get this offensive line right, I already know what kind of running back you have, and I know what kind of defense you have. And then you're cooking on all cylinders. You're flying around, and you're gonna be winning the division. That's how I really believe in this football team's roster. The coach is the one unknown in this whole thing for me and for you that gives us, as Cool Kennedy would say, pause, because I just don't know or don't know what to expect with a guy that you think, okay, you learned from your mistake against the Raiders. No, you didn't. You gotta learn. No, you don't. You gotta learn from 2000. No, you don't. You say the right things, but you're still doing club dub after you won at one game after you lost 6. To me, that's not a time to do club dub. We'll do club dub when we go to the playoffs. How about that? And use that as incentive. We haven't earned that, but that's the kind of stuff. Again, a coach that's never been a head coach has to learn. But that's what gives us pause. The run game, to your point, though, as I ramble, is gonna be key to Andy Dalton and to Justin Fields, and most importantly, like I said, this competition, the offensive line. Because if you can't run block, then you can't get the pass block, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the truth. Armando's dude. Armando is nuts. So when he played, dude, he said,
Don't
"Didn't you
play
play
behind a guy?" Yeah, he was your teammate, right?
Yeah, he was. It was a scrimmage, and I don't know if it was a scrimmage or not. I don't remember, but he took the dude's helmet off. I think it was. See, Armando would get into a fight. So that's how you knew the season was ready to start. He would pick on one of the rookies and get into a fight with him right at practice. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember if it was a practice or if it was an actual game where they got into a fight. And he took the dude, that grabbed each other's face mask. He took his helmet off and just started beating the dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's the dude I want to, like people like that are guys I want to run behind, because he's going to beat you with your own helmet.
Yeah. I like a guy that, listen, as a coach, you would always say one thing and mean another in only that department. So I'm being very clear here, I hope. So when one of my linemen was like punching someone else, I'm like, knock it off. But in the back of my head, I'm like, I love this kid.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love the feistiness.
Yeah, exactly. Let go. Get over here. I would even yell at him in front of his parents.
Everybody.
And then in the huddle, I'd be like, great job. I love that.
I do it. I would do it too. I would do it too. Like, hey, great job. Great job. Hey, way to stick up for your players. I love that shit. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Exactly.
No one understands out here except us in this huddle. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. You give them a wink.
Yeah, good job. Good job. I got to make it look good. Like I got you, coach. I got you.
I got to make you look bad, but you really did a great job there setting the tone. Those are the guys you want.
Yeah, Armando was here. It is. He said the last practice before the start of every season.
That's the tone. Listen,
That's when you know
football's a
season where,
mental game. It really is. There's a lot of tough guys out there, but they get the pads on, they become something different.
ain't that the truth?
Yeah,
What did Yogi
I've seen
Berra
it.
say? Yogi Berra says it's sports is 90% mental, the other half physical.
Yeah, that's a great line. That's the truth. 90%, the other half.
Physical.
I love it.
You know, talk to me about this defense. I think I'm expecting a huge a bounce back year from him. One, I don't know if you heard Eddie Goldman was in town and they had shots of him working out yesterday. It wasn't at Hal's Hall, but it was at a gym pretty close.
1 plate at 10 pounds, Shawn. I'm like, Shawn could do that in his sleep.
Yeah,
I was watching the video. He had 2 plates and a 25 pound. So 45s, that's 90. The bar's 90. That's 180.
It's 135 or 2.25 if you got 2 plates on. So 2.25
plus the resistance bands.
Yeah,
he had the resistance bands. Yeah.
What's that?
So no, I was just saying. So yeah, so he's in town, and there was a lot of obviously speculation. Some Brad Biggs, your buddy Brad Biggs at the Tribune said he's pondering retirement. And that's why they went out and signed the nose tackle from the Chiefs. They drafted Tonga, Mike Pennell. There you go. And if this guy comes back, it changes the total outlook, the whole complexion of this defense. And I think this defense, I'm ready, Phil. I'm ready for this defense to go ham, to literally, they talked a lot of shit about Khalil Mack. He's lost a step. He's this, he's that. Well, he's lost a step because he's being held. He can't take all the steps. He's being held. He's being literally held. Robert Quinn, I don't know where the hell he's been. Okay. But now we talked about Bilal Nichols.
Really banged up.
So you know what? Hopefully, and I don't doubt it. But my thing is, how are you taking care of yourself in the off season? How, to me, that was the most important thing for me, especially when I was playing, because I knew my teammates needed me.
Right.
And there was a strict routine that I did. It involved swimming. I stretched every night, once before I went to bed, when I woke up. It was crazy. But I'm expecting a huge bounce back here. Talk to me about what you think about this defense with defensive coordinator in Shawn Desai.
I'm extremely excited about the talent. I mean, we broke down Pennell on X's with the O's. We broke down Mario Edwards Jr. and Bilal Nichols on X's with the O's last week. The talent on that defensive front 7 is Super Bowl caliber. And to Shawn's point, I'll put my name to this. No blog boy is going to write a negative narrative about Khalil Mack on my watch ever. What he does on defense is insanity, or as my buddy from Hofstra would say, from Brooklyn, it's bananas.
Bananas.
It's bananas. And it really is, because Khalil Mack is the most impressive defensive football player I've ever seen wearing that uniform. I'm sorry. I know that with a history like the Chicago Bear and Urlacher and Buckus and all of them, I just being around this game, watching the things that he does with the hurdles, being held, being triple teamed, but never, ever loafing or being lackadaisical, and playing the run as the importance of the run. Let me just tell you something. Some guys that have gotten paid, if a run plays away, it's over for them. They're going to save their body, their brand for the next play. Not this dude. He's running down the football field, chasing it. It's just over. And then to have a former player, and I know I'm talking about Khalil Mack a little bit more than the whole defense, but I want this to be out there, and I want people to consume this. Talking to a former football player, teammate of the Chicago Bears, who's now playing with another NFL team, he said, Phil, there was two players that should have never been on the football field, number 52 and number 94. Those guys were so banged up, everybody in the locker room knew that they shouldn't probably be playing, but they were. So that made everybody's injuries or nicks and bruises that much more look in the mirror time. Like, I got to get out there if Khalil's playing, if Robert's playing. So he's that kind of player. And talk about a guy that got paid and still plays his best. I think this season, people, all the negative dummies, these blog boys, are going to look like the dumbest frauds that they are when they see Khalil Mack come out there, because I think Akeem Hicks is healthy. I think Eddie Goldman's going to be back. I love Bilal Nichols this year in a contract year. Mario Edwards, again, got suspended, but this is a guy that plays with his hair on fire every single snap. Bilal Nichols, are you kidding me? If he's allowed to push out to where he could play the 3 technique a hell of a lot more and play that outside 5 or 5-eye, this guy's going to be a dominant force added to the. You got to win those one-on-ones because Khalil's taking those doubles. Akeem's taking those doubles. That's where I think Shawn decides being a hell of a lot more aggressive. And here's another thing, Shawn. Every freaking snap, Robert Quinn's on the right, Khalil's on the left side, Khalil's facing their right tackle, Robert's facing their left tackle. There was never like, let's put them both on one side. Let's put Akeem on the same side. Let's run some stunts with him. Let's be creative and totally mess up a front. We had Coach Reinebold from the CFL. He was friends with Mark Trestman. He's also I forget how many years coaching experience. He actually got a call from somebody to pull when Trestman was the coach of the Bears. How should we play him? He's like, Mark hates those odd-looking fronts where you're going bananas, if you will, with those looks, putting those guys. Well, they had 6 sacks against the Bears that night. I'll have to go back and tell you next week who that was because I can't remember, but I thought it was important because somebody's doing their homework to actually study and game plan. What frustrates coordinators is the lack of know. I know what they're going to do, so I know what I have to do. If you don't know what they're going to do, now you're going to call your plays. That hasn't happened. Pagano was a huge disappointment with his predictability and his lack of aggressiveness. You hope Desai with all of these weapons. There's no reason that last year Roy Robertson Harris didn't play the edge with that kind of power and speed. It's just poor coaching. So hopefully Desai gets it. You got this young kid Gibson coming back. I know he's working really hard. Gibson? Yeah, not Tevis Gibson, the kid they drafted out of Tulsa. Tevis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the the edge rusher. I hear good things about him coming back into this season. His body, he looks like he did the Swan. He transformed his body. So we'll see how he does. So those pieces of the puzzle, some of these young guys got to step up and see how they perform this season. But you know what you're going to get from Khalil Mack and then Roquan Smith being in a contract year.
He's ready.
Just think
he's ready to explode.
You already see it. So if Danny T has anything left in the tank, Christian Jones they signed, who former Bear, back. So here's a guy that isn't, nothing against our friend Josh Woods, but Josh wasn't ready to play. He became a liability against the Packers. Every third down, Aaron Rodgers was looking to shallow cross. Where's Danny T? Where's Josh Woods? That's what it became, and those third downs turn into first downs, so the drive continues. It's all a game of chess. This defense, though, on paper, obviously the only area of concern is that cornerback position. How are they going to play Desmond Trufant? How is he going to be a replacement for Fuller? Or is it one of these other guys, Kendall Vildor, my boy Trey Robinson from the Canadian League? How is he going to come back after injury? I mean, he's an unknown. Michael Joseph, who's been here for 4 years, 5 years now on the practice squad, small school kid. He won the Walter Payton Award in Division 2 or 3 football. 1AA rather. How is he gonna play? How are these people gonna show up? And Shawn Desai, how is he gonna coach? He's my possibility of MVP, because if he coaches, real quick story. You talk about Armando Laura being from high school and teammate. Shawn Desai coached here in Connecticut. That's where he got his start. The football program was a rival program, and in regards to how I measure our league and how my father's coached in that league, Shelton High School in Connecticut was up there, man. They knew how to teach fundamentals. They were prepared. They always came at you differently. It was hard to scout them and get a handle on them. You were switching stuff up at halftime. They made you work. So Shawn comes from that history, and he's lasted all of these coaches. That gives me hope and excitement about how he's going to handle this being his name on this team with all the pressure that comes along with the position and the pressure that comes along with Matt Nagy and company, whether or not they have it or not, whether their leash is longer than we believe or it is shorter. Shawn Desai knows this is my time. So how does he handle that? I really believe in the kid based on the history I know of him. So that's an exciting time for him and this Chicago Bears team, because the defense, talk about bullets in a gun, you got it all locked and loaded right there. There's one question: who's going to play that corner position? That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and if they can settle that, I think this defense is going to be amazing, dude. I'm telling you, I just think that front seven is going to finally get back. You know, they're putting the band back together. You know, Eddie Goldman's back, and you know, you added a new member in Robert Quinn. And the thing that you mentioned, Phil, that I really wondered myself is why you didn't never put those guys on the same side. All right, just like the 046, where you had the two linebackers on one end, just bump everybody down. Okay, you could bump everybody down and have those two guys. So now, and still have the three technique. Okay, and now, but he's still over the guard. So now I got a tackle, and I'm a tackle. I got Robert Quinn in front of me, and Khalil Mack to his outside. What the hell do I do?
Yeah, what do you do? Putting a tackle in a listen. Your job as a coach is to make someone think. That's what the whole game of football is. If you make them think, you got a step, and a step gives you a second, and the game is in inches, so a second gives you 3. That's what it is about. You have to make other people think. When you've done that, that's why there is a thing called play action. That's why there is a thing called a counter. That's why there is a thing called a screen. It's all about making people think they're doing something that's right when ultimately it's wrong. That's the game in its lowest, pulling all the layers back. Everything's about trickery and acting. The best route runner doesn't have to be a 4-2 guy. Just like Jerry Rice, he was a great actor. Now, maybe he couldn't act on a movie screen, but he certainly could act on the football field, making you think he's going to the fade, and then all of a sudden, his quickness gets him underneath you, and he's running a skinny post, and he's got you beat by 6 yards. That's a quarterback's best friend. Same thing on defense. I'm going to make them think we're playing man-to-man here, and then I'm going to roll that safety last second. We're in cover 2, and all of a sudden, we're intercepting the football, and we're taking it back for 6. It changes the whole dynamic and course of the game. So for somebody that loves gimmicks and trickery, the Chicago Bears, led by Nagy, have failed. They've been so easily. It's like that movie. You figured out the plot within 12 seconds.
Yeah, and you're like,
God, this guy's
we can leave now.
We already know. Yeah, why are we sitting here watching this? sucks. So hopefully they get those things, but it's on both sides of the football. To your point, you've won. Even if you don't get home, you get a shot on that quarterback because he had to think, wait, who do I got to pick up here, Quinn or Mac? That is
Imagine
that's
stunts with
coaching.
those
That's
two. The
oh
two
my
imagine
God.
stunts, crosses, and oh my God, and
The New York Giants they do that shit all the time with their package with O.C. Umonore and
it was a four defensive end
Strahan.
packages, four defensive
Oh my
ends.
God. They call it
Justin
the
Tuck, OC
NASCAR
Uniora,
package.
JPP, and Strahan. Those
Justin
four. That's
Tuck.
how they won the Super Bowl.
Can you imagine? Exactly. Because they were giving you, what are we going to do here? How are we going to block this? Oh, if he comes on his twist game, now we're screwed because I already sold myself out. I turned my shoulders. In
Yep.
a game of
Once you turn your
football, you got
shoulders,
to make
you're
them
done.
think. Oh, yeah. Once you do that, you're done. That's what gets you excited. That's why I was so. Shane always talks about the famous Pagano quote. Well, once he took over, and Vic Fangio, say whatever it is you want. He was the reason Nagy got that Coach of the Year.
Yep.
What if there were definitely showcases where he was putting Akeem Hicks outside of edge rusher, standing him up. If you look back on it, and why not? He's 350 fucking pounds. Put him at an outside 9 with that kind of ability to move and be athletic like that, and you
And
know it's
generate that
third
much
down.
momentum and force coming
And
off that tackle.
oh my God. Oh my God. That's a nightmare for a quarterback and an offensive tackle. Like, oh my God, now we gotta have the guard turn out. Oh, guess what? We're doing a stunt underneath that with Bilal Nichols and Mario Edwards because you're focused so much on Akeem. Oh, and guess what? We got Khalil Mack on the others. It's like do something outside the box. Stop winding them up like Dave wants that. Here's Trace. There's Richard. There's this Jim Flanagan. There's Zorich. Let's just try to penetrate. No, that's not today's game. You got to get it. You got to do these things. You got the talent. That's the thing. It's going to be
Yes.
exciting. You and I are going to be going crazy watching this stuff again because
Yes.
this time there's no excuses. None of these blog boys can write excuses up anymore. This is Matt Nagy's 4th year. Let's get it right. Let's get it right.
Last thing before we let
I'm
you go.
excited.
You and me and Bear Nation is excited as well. Last thing before we let you go. Justin Fields was working with a couple quarterbacks down in was it Atlanta? LA?
Yeah, LA.
With the Jordan Love, the Packers. Oh, now they're starting quarterback until Rodgers comes back, and Deshaun Watson. No masseuses were around, but it was good because they all have the same they all have the same agent, which is cool. Talk to me about that for a quick second, like working out with your peers, with other young black quarterbacks. You know, one who's had success in Deshaun Watson, another one who's trying to get success.
I think anytime you're surrounding yourself with good people, hopefully with Deshaun Watson, we know what he is as a player. I mean, I don't know what this whole scenario, how that's going to play out, being perfectly transparent. So I don't even know what his story is, but to do that, I think it's a great thing. I mean, anytime there's a fellowship or a brotherhood at a position, you talked about it last week when I was on the show with you, with the fellowship that the tight ends have down in Atlanta with Cole Kmet working with Kittle. It's no different than that. And when you get these guys that are alphas together, because we know what Deshaun Watson is, we know what Justin Fields is, and there becomes a competition there. And again, some people will see it, well, you don't want to be around the enemy, he's a Packer or whatever, but nobody even knows what Jordan Love is, what his story is going to be. You still hear Aaron Rodgers saying, well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer. I don't know. I don't know. He keeps saying that. So all we do know is he doesn't know. But what I do, stay away from massage parlors. I agree. But also believe in surrounding yourself and being in those places of competition. And the more you learn, just like in life, in art, in music, in coaching, we would go to coaches clinics with, coaches that were in the NFL, and there's NFL coaches listening from other teams to another coach talk about how they coach it.
Mhm.
Because you know what? There's one nugget that you could take from somebody that you could share or teach or use as a teaching moment. So,
Yep.
how Justin Fields spends his time, if he's around, I don't know if people are negative about it, if that's why you're asking, but for me, I'm positive about it because the more time you're working on your craft, the better for me. And
I
say
couldn't agree
whatever,
more.
yeah, say whatever it is you want about Deshaun Watson and whatever he did. The guy's a great football player, and we know, both of us know, the Bears missed on him and hopefully have gotten it right here. So I like it. I like
I do
it.
too.
And
Yeah, because
go
you
ahead.
what you do is you compare. You know, and there's always like, oh, okay, he did that. Now I have. There's always that internal competition.
Exactly.
Always, always, always. And you're getting a guy who's a Pro Bowler in Deshaun Watson, and you're seeing him. You know, you've watched him in college. You know, or you watched him when you were in college, even in high school, most likely. So you understood, and now you're working out with him. And you talked about little nuggets, and it's not big, you know, life-changing things. It's little small things: how to hold the ball, how to do this, how to do that, how to move the safety a little better. Okay, to get for him to get that one step in the wrong direction, so you can come back the other day. All those things are awesome, and they're when you're getting it from a guy who's done it, it
Yeah.
means so much more because it means a lot coming from a coach. But when you get a guy who's done it and you've seen him do it, because
Totally.
you've seen him throw to Will Fuller, you've seen him throw to DeAndre Hopkins when he was there. You saw him all the time doing, like, how the hell is he doing this? And now he's giving you his secrets. Man, it
And
don't get
one
much
other
better
thing,
than that. Hmm.
what just to piggyback on you that I thought of just now. Here's a guy in Deshaun Watson who we don't know how he's dealing with life and the pressure that he's dealing with, or it could all be fake and he's pissed off. But we know that he's been through the ringer, so to speak.
Hmm.
And this could he might not play again. We don't know.
Right.
You and I don't know
Right.
that. So I think you put a young guy in with somebody that might not play or his career's up in the air or whatever he's going through, it is a positive in my book, to your point, because he's done it before. And I feel like Deshaun is the kind of guy that would say, don't make the same mistake I made. Don't do this
Hmm.
and be that much more helpful. That's the kind of person that I believe he is, especially like you said, these three young black quarterbacks all together. I just think that's a fellowship, and I think nothing but positivity can come from that. That's just the way I look at it. If I was his coach, I would be all for that.
Hey, Phil, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it as always. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yes. TheTapeNeverLies.com, www.thetapeneverlies.com, right there. Patron membership, $7 a month uh, as the paints begin to fill up. And when I say that, as football begins, now I'm going to have new paint to show on the tape. And we have so much planned, including this guy, Shawn Sierra, coming on, looking at running backs and everything else, breaking down X's and O's. Me and my father, we have former Bears coming on, and we go to the tape to tell the story. We don't go to Brad Biggs or the Bears blog or any of these people to tell a narrative where there's an agenda or some sort of a bias attached to it. The tape is going to tell the story of why this happened or who's standing out or what center should be playing and why. Not up in the air. There's no area of remorse. There's just an answer. Why? This is why. So this weekend we'll be looking at receivers Demarius uh, Bird, uh, and we're going to be looking at Marquise Goodwin with the old paints because that's all we have from them. So we're going to look back at what these guys bring to the table and why Chicago Bears fans should be excited about them being on this roster with Darnell Mooney and probably the fastest receiving core back to the field turf, Shawn, that the Bears have had in the longest of times. They've always tried to find these guys like Jack Jackson, Capel, if you remember these John Capel, these 4-2 guys, but they were just track guys. These two guys, though, you're going to be excited. They're football players that, oh, just by the way, happen to be track guys. And if you don't believe in Darnell Mooney, I think you really got to recognize what he was able to accomplish as a rookie is unbelievable when you look back on his performance. So we're going to take a deep look at that. Me, my father, and our guy across the pond, Bearlissimo, on these receivers tomorrow around 10 a.m. East. So that's 9 Central. Breaking down the tape. On the tape never lies. You can find me on Instagram at Phil_Atoshin. Right there. I said it all. I went over your time. I apologize.
Don't worry about it, man. It's all good. Hey, we'll talk soon, Papa. All right?
Love you guys. Ivan, love you, bro. And Shawn, you know how I feel about you. And
likewise.
Steph says, get ready for Galaga Championship 2021. October.
Oh, yes, baby. Bring it.
Love
Don't
you
sing
guys.
it. Don't sing it. Bring it.
Bring it. Love you
All right,
guys.
man. All right, man. We'll talk soon. Guys, that was Phil Atoshin, the draft doctor himself. Always good to talk with him. Good to talk Bears with him. Man, 3 hours has come and gone. Unbelievable. What a phenomenal week, guys. Whew. Want to thank our guest, Darnell Mayberry, driving through the boonies, man. Took time out to call us, talk a little NBA Finals, talk Bulls. Great stuff with him. And, of course, our guy, DDP, the draft doctor, Phil Atoshin himself. Also want to thank Joseph Phillips for chiming in. Good stuff with him, as always. And I want to thank my executive producer, Elliot Baez, my social media guy, Clarence Counsel, my co-host in absentia, Maya Kai, and this guy right here who makes sure everything runs smoothly, Ivan Vargas. So for Clarence Counsel, Elliot Baez, Maya Akai, and Ivan Vargas.
Yeah, I'm cool with Justin working out with, Deshaun and that. But like I said, man, just keep it to working out, dog. Just keep it to working out, dog. Just keep. Look. Hey, it's still allegedly.
Alleged.
But keep your ass away, all right? We need you. We need you. We come this far. Don't screw it up now. It hasn't even started yet. Don't screw it up now.
Hadn't even started. Yeah, just take quarterback advice from Deshaun Watson. Don't take recovery advice.
Recovery advice.
Yeah, I got this great masseuse to help you recover.
Yeah.
Hey, so for those guys, I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn CR. We're going to take a 69-hour break. We'll be back Monday, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. Game 3 of the NBA Finals is Sunday. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you follow SportsZone Chicago on all our social media platforms. On Facebook and Instagram, it's at SportsZone Chicago. On Twitter, at SportsZone Shy. Now we can say, have a great weekend, folks. 2 more words for you. We out.